No way. Guys, congratulations. We made it to Friday. Crazy. Welcome in, my friends. Good to see you all. How are we on audio? I gotta check first thing we start because God knows what's going on. I was a little quiet on the podcast this morning, which explains why we're late. It's a Friday. I think Friday streams, maybe I might just push them back a little bit for good because the podcast goes, dude. We love talking. What better thing is there to do than just talk constantly? No end in sight for no reason than to make noise. Sounds a bit low? All right. The weird thing is, like, my mic is picking up everything, but it's not actually projecting that loud, which is just strange because the gain's pretty high. Oh, let me see if we can tweak that a bit. All right. Welcome in, friends. I was gone yesterday, so we didn't cover the monthly report. But let me tell you, the month has been reported, and it's looking good. We've got some interesting stuff to talk about today. A whole bunch of progress in development. A lot of it focused around 4.9, and a lot of it focused around the delay that we're going to hear about in a little bit. But look at how big this core gameplay section is. Sometimes we don't even get a core gameplay section. Sometimes it's just like a paragraph, maybe two. This is nice. But then you look at this and you realize, hold on. Wait. There's more. Scroll down below the picture and see that the core gameplay section just keeps going this month. So, we got some good things to talk about on that front. There's also some interesting stuff in online technology, some cool stuff in the art section, obviously the ships. We always got to go over the ships. And then on top of that, there's like the whole roadmap roundup that came out on Wednesday, which is a pretty big delay to the stuff that was planned for 4.9 and in general what was going to be an important patch, not necessarily a giant one, but definitely an important one with instancing. So some complications, but mainly some just interesting topics. I will probably just be covering these for the stream today, but as always, we're gonna get completely distracted and talk about other stuff. I'm gonna announce the top toes of quarter 2 2026. That's what I am calling everybody who is at the top of our toes gang board for supporting the stream throughout the quarter and making this all possible. It goes a freaking long way, and I want to recognize the people who are doing that a lot and who come in here and throw down. Also seeing some throwdowns in the chat already. Rockstar came in with a 6-month sub. Appreciate you, dude. 6 months, man. Thank you for the half of 2026, the better half, probably, so far. We'll put that to the test. Oh, man, I hope it's not the better half. Thank you, though, for coming through in 2026. It's been good seeing you in chat, popping into the comments, and chatting with you here and there. Thank you, Thawed Empire, for throwing down 1,000 bits. Brother. Jesus, thank you. I really appreciate that. Hope you're having a good day and looking forward to a good weekend. Started off your year right. It was the New Year's resolution, of course. In the year of 2026, I want to pay more attention to consuming tomatoes. in civil ways. So yeah, this is probably the bigger immediate news for most people. Big old delays happening with 4.9. But I don't think, I think most folks wanted them to at least show that they were willing to do something to make the game work better. For those of you who have already digested this news, how are you feeling about it before we get into it? What's up, Jaybird? Good to see you, brother. I haven't said my hellos today. Maverick, of course. Lighting up both platforms, fresh and early. Appreciate you, dude. I hope you're doing okay, Maverick. We gotta get in game. I guess tomorrow I can get in game. We could do something. Fola, always good to see you, dude. We were doing some folding of the baby clothes yesterday, and the Fola set was proud. The veggies, the freaking onesies. I love them. Thank you. Appreciate you, dude. Good to see you in chat. Razor Walker, hello, friend. Matt Sully, absolute classic. Welcome in, buddy. NECA Claudius, Jaybird, locking down the mod channel on YouTube. Revald, good to see you. P Wolf, welcome in. On Twitch, though, Thawed, thank you for the music. Thawed, it's good to see you, my dude. Thank you for those bits again. Yui, welcome in. Just Game. Oh my gosh, all the way from 1945. It's been a minute. Good to see you, dude. Valis, Mr. Valis Soth of Val. Oh, wait, we've got a stream notification there. Hold on. We got a stream streak. Yui. What is that, 60 streams? Not bad. That's up there. It's up there, Steve. Actually, what is the highest streak we have? I think it's Vastin. Maverick. Vastin's 10 behind Maverick. But Yui would be in 4th. You have a Yui on here? Nope. New entry. Yui. How do I spell that? It's one N. Minamoto. Cheers. Jump to the top of the list. All right. It could have been more. Could have. Twitch is playing games, though. Did you get to try the PTU last night? I haven't. No, I haven't. What is it, 4.9 PTU? I guess that makes sense. It's gotta be. Roar Soul Surgeon, good to see you. Twitch, I did not forget y'all. It's great to see you, my friends. Tola Garth. Bad Wookie paused plays. Fuzzy Pizzas. Fuzzy Pizzas sounds somewhat concerning. I'll allow it for this one. Oh, Mage OG. Hello. Hello, my friend. Good to see you. Benefit Man. 07's bud. Fluffy Gamer. Dionysos. AK Commander. Happy Friday, you guys. Welcome in. I just had a nice podcast with 10 Pound 42. We talked a lot about like what we're about to go over, the 4.9 delay and all that stuff. Lock, you're up to 22. 22 streaks on the stream. Might get arrested for that. Let's see. Mr. Locke. Oh, I've got you listed down under with someone else because you guys made the same Squadron 42 prediction. Interesting. Thank you. Thank you very much. Bing. And then Kelly is December 31st, 2026. So, my man Locke, you guessed that Squadron 42 would be arriving on December 31st, 2026. So I'll go ahead and make sure that that is still listed for you. So it's a risky date to guess, but you know, maybe it'll happen. Rigathy, Rigaman, the Rig Logic in the chat. The first one on the Toes Gang for the day. Cheers, dude. Appreciate you. Rig is our resident miner and super big fan of logistics work. If you ever want to get involved in moving boxes for GII, for taking care of getting things from point A to point B, cargo hauling, that kind of stuff, please contact Rig. Email him, DM him, send him pigeons, knock on his front door. Any way you can get his attention about that, he would love it. Meantime, I'm gonna write his name on the board though. Oh, Dude, this chair and its farts. Oh, God, there's a lot of erasing. All over my hand. Cheers to you all. Thank you for last stream. I think my G is getting worse. I don't know how, but it's finding a way. An arrow with a letter attached to the shaft. Shoot arrows through his door. 4.9 delay is good. Whoa, Rockstar. Rockstar dropping 20 freaking subs. Holy crap, bro. Hello. Thank you. Hey, it gets us to the goal for the day. I appreciate it, dude. Wildly said 4.9 delay is good to make sure everything is working. It feels more like a full bug patch for 4.8. The question is, do they need to keep doing this for all of the patches now? That's 2 R's, right? Yeah. I know how to spell. I know words. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Shoot the arrow in his back. Jesus. I was thinking maybe the knee. I don't know how to shoot anybody else with an arrow anywhere but in the knee. It must be done. I like how Rig had no pushback against the contact for logistics. Avocado, you played some Xenothreat with 10 pound the other day. It was fun. You've been enjoying the Xenothreat stuff? What do you guys think of this so far? 4.8.3 Xenothreat. More like Xeno. I don't know. I have nothing. It's how much is there to do? How are these missions running? I would love to hear some feedback on them. I have not gotten to try them at all. You can earn unique rewards. You get in blueprints. The blueprints are account bound or account rewarded. They're in-game rewards that you get to keep, but they are not hanger bound, which means they will get wiped eventually. You find it a bit lame? Mrs. Tomato can shoot him with her Nerf rifle. The arrows? Ow, dude. Ouch. What they need to do is release patch events like DefenseCon 2 weeks early. Yeah, but then they lose the hype. And you know that's what they really love. New Soul. Holy crap. Great to see you. How have things been going for you? Can we get a shout out for New Soul, please? New Soul Sounds, one of the premier Star Citizen music creators. If you guys are looking for some audio with a little bit of a, I won't say a Star Citizen focused beat. You're making music that you can listen to in a whole bunch of different settings, but I know that it does go well with Star Citizen. And we love the struggle. Xeno mild inconvenience is maybe, yeah, a little bit more fitting. Do you find it really boring, Vargonio? It's okay. The desync in the ship battles is very annoying. Desync always finds a way to include itself. It's that friend that invites itself everywhere. Thanks, Desync. We totally, yeah, we wanted you here today. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's why we left that invite for you at the door. Fluffy Gamer. Mr. Fluff. Fluffington. Let's hear it. Come on, kids. Thank you. I appreciate it, dude. Thank you for the support. Joining the Toes gang. Don't even know what our top toes are getting today yet. I hope they're here though. Banana Split, thank you for the bits. Is the hype worth the negative from all the bugs? Yes, probably. I mean, you're gonna have to go to the CFO and look him dead in the face with this kind of a May and be like, was it worth it, sir? Was $45 million worth it? They'll probably say yes, which is kind of the problem. Like, they will make a ton of money as the patch is coming out. By the time it really settles in for people how bad it might be, a lot of that money's been spent. And like, by the time you spend the money, you're generally telling yourself it's gonna get fixed. You know, it'll come back. A hype train. Yo, thanks for starting a hype train on Twitch. Benefit Man, appreciate you, dude, with the bits. Keeping an eye on other space games too, like ED and No Man's Sky. Yeah, I'm looking to actually cover a little bit more. God, every year I want to cover more X4, and I never get around to it. It's another one I would like to try out. Thank you for the shout out. Me and Pops says, congratulations on the little one. Thank you. We appreciate it. That is the most exciting thing in our life right now. Sorry, Squadron. You are a very, very, very distant on that list. Appreciate it a ton. How have you guys been, dude? How's the producing going? Think about upgrading to a 5800X 3D from the 3900X and 64 gigabytes of RAM. Oh my God. Dude, that's like $800. That's probably more than $800 now. How much is 64 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM? $600. All right, fine. Not as absolutely awful as I thought. Still pretty bad. I mean, this is 32 gigs straight from Corsair for $1,200, dude. So it can get up there. If you're doing like a lower clock, I guess it's a little bit lower, but this is still, it's $1,000 freaking bucks for 64 gigs. Oh, you're doing DDR4. Well, bless your soul. That might actually help quite a bit. Hey, yeah, that's actually not, that's much better. I mean, I guess the timing is different, but 64.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Still awful. Sorry. I was wrong. I clicked on the wrong thing. It's still... No, this is DDR5 again. Tell me DDR4 prices. How much is freaking 64 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM? This is selling me 400 at Newegg. That's still so much, dude. I remember when I was like 120 bucks. Oh man, back in my day. That's rough, dude. I wish you luck. That 5800X3D though is going to do a ton. That's going to be very helpful. So I definitely suggest that. Leo, Mr. Leo Nim with a 5 gifted sub right as the hype train ended. That was a good way to end the hype train. Thank you. Thank you, Leo, my man. Hope you're having a good day, a good weekend. You bought 32 gigs of RAM right before the price explosion for 180. Wow, was 32 180? I'm just way off in my memory, huh? I thought 32 was closer to like 100. But no, I guess RAM was generally... It's like you can't get good RAM for less than a CPU cooler. Come on now. Can't SC use up to like 29 gigs now? It can get pretty high. It can certainly use quite a bit. I don't know what the exact amount is, but it's up there. Hell, when you're running it on VR, it uses like up to 23, 24 gigabytes of VRAM. So can't imagine your regular everyday RAMs, how they're gonna do. Coyote, thank you for the bits, man. Appreciate you. Xenothreat is kind of boring. You took the Idris mission as your very first Xeno beatdown, and apparently you were the only person doing that mission, as you literally got all 120,000 points needed to complete the grind, and now there's no point to doing the remainder of the missions. It genuinely feels like a bit of a toss-out release, this version of Xenothreat. You paid $220 for 64 gigs last April. That's a freaking steal. Oh my gosh. Who's your hookup? My lordy. $220 freaking dollars. You missed the old Xenothreat event? So do I. Hello, Fat Bird. Good to see you, sir. How is the... I never really got the impression that the fatness of said bird was unhealthy. I've seen some birds walking around and I'm like, hey, your legs are small, you should be careful. But I don't think that's where you stand, right? You're just kind of a general sort of fat bird, an average fat bird. Good to see you in the chat, dude. Fantastic to see you in the chat, folks. If you want to see some good YouTube videos of Star Citizen, click on his name there in chat, Fat Bird, or search it on Google. I don't think there's too many ways that, not many things that go by Fat Bird. You might get pictures of fat birds, but look for the YouTube channel Fat Bird that makes Star Citizen content, because one of the top machinima artists right now in the scene. That was normal on Amazon back in the day, $220 for 64 gigs of RAM. Well, lots of things were normal back in the day that are not anymore. And a lot of things were really weird back in the day that are now normal. Yay time. All right, let's talk about this update, because I'm burning a lot of time and we got to get to the monthly report. So, Space Nerds. Star Citizen Alpha 4.9 has essentially been delayed, as the biggest things included have been pushed out to 4.10 coming in August. But that's not really the whole story here. The whole story is how this is a massive response to what happened in 4.8. And what it means for the game for the rest of the year. So we're going to talk about what's going on with 4.9 with this roadmap roundup. We're also going to mention 4.10, because that also has, the stuff that got pushed out of 4.9. And we're going to discuss why this whole fix here might not work to do what they want to do. I think this is a great move. 100% right thing they should be doing is making sure that their deliveries match their advertising. But I don't think necessarily just attacking the symptoms here, these problems, which are really big problems, are going to be what makes this work long term. But we'll get to that. Let's start with the explanation. As mentioned during a recent Star Citizen Live, we've reassessed our bug prioritization process following the release of Alpha 4.8. As part of that effort, we've refined how we prioritize bugs, with increased involvement from senior leadership alongside our development, QA, player experience community, and other supporting teams to help ensure we're focusing on the issues that will make the most impact. I don't know what exactly this means, if this means the directors, if it means middle management, if it means this freaking CTO himself. It's a little ambiguous, but it is good that, like, they're all getting eyes on the things that are big problems. And then they kind of confirm here that they understand what the big problems are based on what people have been saying. Based on reports from the Issue Council, Spectrum, Reddit, direct player feedback, and other sources, we have identified nearly 100 issues that significantly impact core gameplay systems and quality of life. This includes instanced hangars, ATC and ship retrieval, freight elevators, quantum travel and star routing. Oh my gosh. Inventory UI and interaction, ships being falsely marked as lost or stolen or destroyed, docking, ship and FPS AI, login flow and exploits. These are definitely problematic. Those include some of the biggest problems in the game. The hangars, ATC, quantum travel, star map, and inventory and interaction stuff, I think, are right up there, top 4, and the freight elevators. In addition, they say, We're tracking a broader list of quality of life issues frequently reported by new players. While many veteran players have learned workarounds for common problems, they shouldn't have to. As we continue working towards making Star Citizen as welcoming as possible for new players, we're also addressing many of the issues that commonly affect the first hour of gameplay. This is going back to this page shows just how bad May was from a onboarding standpoint. They made a ton of money. Look at how much the money figure of May outpaces every other year ever. But when you go to the new accounts made, that difference is a lot smaller. In fact, I think it is smaller than the last 1, 2, 3, 4 years. Out of the last 6 years they've had a big May, this is the second worst, which shouldn't happen. They should have they just released crafting. They have more multi-crew possibilities with engineering in the game. There's more content than there ever was before. The Ironclad just came out, which was a big deal. There were freaking, I think, like 4 or 5 ships released in the space of 2 weeks. This should have been one of the biggest onboarding moments for this game ever, and it did not. I think that's a large part because the new player experience is just freaking awful. It's so bad, and it's only worse when there's all of these kinds of problems going on. So that is something they need to focus on, because they're telling these new players, come play Star Citizen. This cool battle's happening. You can fight these cool enemies. You can check out these cool places. And then people go into the game and you can't even make it there because you're glitching and falling through your ship. So yeah, it's just the same kind of stuff everybody has been saying. Even the folks that want this game to continue to march forward, I think, need to acknowledge that CIG as a company clearly needs folks to keep buying ships. Therefore, they are marketing to new folks to buy ships. Therefore, those new folks are getting certain expectations, and CIG should be delivering those expectations during their updates. Hopefully this leads to it. Continuing, they say, for those who remember the state of transit in early 2025, we're applying a similar philosophy here. At one point, months of bug fixing produced only incremental improvements, so we shifted our focus to developing new debug tools for QA that could identify root causes rather than simply addressing symptoms. The result is what many would consider a far more robust transit system today. I don't find myself getting sent into the sky by trains anymore, so that's certainly good. But we're all still waiting to see the actual transport system come into the game in other places besides Grimhex. I think they're just leaving it at Grimhex right now. But we'll see. Maybe there will be some updates here soon. Freight elevators are a good example of why this matters. Despite 70 to 80 bug fixes since last summer, players still don't feel the system is as stable or reliable as it should be. Much of that work addressed individual symptoms rather than the underlying causes. This is how they've always worked. I would love if they said here, this is a change to our entire philosophy as a company, because they have always gone after symptoms. In our minds, it was because they were working so much on like the back end of the game, right? PES, the entity database, server meshing. These things required them to basically sit on a temporary version of everything. And for those reasons, they didn't try and go in and fix those underlying causes. They would fix the symptoms, because until they could get to the new systems, a good example, the transport system compared to the transit system, why break your back trying to fix the underlying fundamental problems there? But they didn't do that. They've not been able to get these new systems in, whether it be the transport system, whether it be proper working inventory UI, whether it be the new quantum travel system. All of these things are still not getting into the game. I would guess that's because of Squadron 42. As with most things tend to be, FPS radar and scanning, weapon wear and tear, whatever it might be. I think that's all being held up by Squadron 42, but because it has been held up, they can't just keep pushing it off. They need to fix these things. That's, now that I'm saying it, also slightly worrying to think that the replacements are so far off that the underlying issues need to be fixed in the old versions. But maybe I'm also reading too much into it, you know? Maybe that's not entirely what's going to happen here. That being said, the fact that they want to go after underlying issues rather than symptoms is a really good thing, because for a long time, one of the biggest things that has always worked like that was like NPCs T-posing. They would fix the symptoms that cause the NPCs to T-pose, but they could never figure out all of the reasons for why it was happening. And as a non-game dev, I'm hoping that this is them saying that they would prefer to go the other way. Because at this point, that's where we are. Star Citizen's here. Y'all need to make it playable and work. Let's continue though. So far, they say we have roughly solved 20% of the issues on our current priority list. That might be this nearly 100 issues, not sure. We don't expect to complete every fix in time for 4.9, but we're confident this is a more methodical, root cause driven approach and is the right path forward for systems of Star Citizen's scale and complexity. This is true. And nobody should expect this to be bright and sunshine from 4.9 or even 4.10. This is a shift in philosophy. If it does stick, it's going to take a little while, I think, for it to really show. If it doesn't stick, that sucks. That's all I can say to that. Naturally, an initiative like this comes with trade-offs. It requires dedicated time from several of the teams responsible for these core systems, time that would otherwise be spent developing new features or supporting additional content. As a result, we've temporarily paused work on a small number of features while we focus on improving the stability of these foundational systems. That's the painful one. That's a shot through the heart, but it's got to happen. Like, if they're going to pump the brakes, they need to pump something, and new features seem to be it. So when we go over the monthly report in a little bit here, that's going to be coming back up a lot. With that in mind, they said, we're moving Siege of Orison and all instance-related content out of Alpha 4.9 and into a new 4.10 scheduled for mid-August. So not fully another 2-month cycle, just 1 extra month of time on this. These additional 4 weeks will allow us to continue hardening the features and technology and related deliverables planned for that content. Instancing, in particular, introduces a significant number of new systems, back-end services, and gameplay mechanics that require additional validation before we're comfortable bringing them to life. Based on the recent tech preview builds, we believe more time is still needed. Good call. I think I didn't get to try out the tech preview, but I talked to 10pound42 on the stream today or on the podcast, and he was he was like, there's no way that was going to be ready. So that's the announcement. That is the big news regarding the immediate future. The other big news is talking a little bit more about the medium to long-term future here in the monthly report. But this shows us the plan for July and August, and I do dare say it means that July is probably going to be fairly quiet in terms of releases. I don't even know. They don't really delay ship releases, so they'll probably put whatever ship is planned for 4.9 still in. But this is certainly going to put a little bit of a damper on what makes it in by the end of the year, because we only have so many content drops that we can see. It doesn't matter what they change, since they will have to change it again and again in 6 months or so. It's a moving target, as every time they add new system, it breaks everything all over again. Yup. And that's why, despite all the gnashing of teeth about last year being the year of playability but not being playable, like they specifically weren't adding new features so that this kind of stuff didn't happen last year. And while they had problems last year, for sure, golly, they had problems, there was a definitive difference in the way they were adding things last year to this year. And a lot of folks might be wondering, like, how is this any different from the year of playability? Or some people misattribute it the year of stability. It's because they are still adding features. Like, this is, like, we'll talk about it here in a little bit, 4.9, but these are still technically feature additions. The ordnance cargo holder, the Valacar additions, the ship combat UI improvements, those are kind of feature work. You'd probably call them quality of life if you wanted to, but these things are introducing somewhat new functionality in the same way that, like, the little feature drops last year did too. But they're still trying to keep things going, and as was confirmed in by Niku, in a response to somebody asking about this, he did say that the features that they are working on or have been talking about, Nyx and the Genesis related features, that stuff is still coming and being worked on in parallel. So they're not completely shifting back to this idea of only content drops, but they're taking the same page out of the book they did last year. They understand that the game has to play well for them to make more money on it. And I think this is, they've stretched their luck a little bit and probably burned a little bit of goodwill with this last May. And in order to make sure that November reflects as big an increase over last year as May did, they need to make sure that by November, this game is still playing pretty well, along with new features coming in. So we're not going to see the same thing we did last year. This is also clearly a change more so in how they're handling the triage and the actual method of bug fixing, but this is the bit that's going to take more time to see. A delay is great, and reorganizing your priorities is good, but until we actually see these things start to get some fixes and more stability, I think most folks are just going to be waiting and seeing, and this is probably going to take a couple months. So we'll see where this goes. Now, here are the features that are going to be in 4.9. First is the support the miners mission pack. This is what I've been doing on stream lately, where we've been doing the Recco Battaglia missions. These are, they're linked to Recco, but they're pretty generic missions. These aren't really right home to mom about doing new stuff in Star Citizen. They are interesting. It's good fun if you like your time in Nyx, but I don't think it's enough to relocate your whole home from Stanton for. Combat clothing is, I think, another touch towards Starware, implementing lightly armored apparel designed to offer a more stylish look while remaining visible, viable in combat situations. New hairstyles. Ordnance cargo holder. We saw this. This is what is turning missiles into actual stackable components, even though they were. Now they just look right. The bullpup rifle, the ship combat improvements, which I think are here. You can see you got like the normal crosshair. You get a little cancel sign for no damage, blue hashes for shield hit, a blue cross with a no sign for shield penetration, no damage, shield penetration, all kinds. And it is quite nice to get better feedback when you're like, this is one of those things that you don't ask for, but clearly a game needs. I know some people really hate hit markers. Some people genuinely hate hit markers, depending on the type of game they're playing. But I do think that there is enough variability in this game, and there's definitely enough opportunity for you to just shoot something and it doesn't even react to you because of a glitch, that it's nice to have a visible reaction to stuff, tell you what's going on. You got the Valakar movements. This is interesting because they've been talking about allowing Valakar to move around and like kind of move behind you, flank you. And here they talk about dynamic burrowing, so we'll see if that might be part of this.
Tomato will be with you shortly.
Whether it is or not, I don't know, but there are some updates coming to the Valakar that you'll have to check out in 4.9. And then the ship flyby audio. There's a certain amount of ships that have changed their audio and reintroduced their flyby sounds with all new audio assets to deliver greater immersion and improved positional feedback during flight. And you know where it came from? Y'all know where it came from. Never forget. This is the man they brought in to do it, and he's doing it. I assume he's doing it. He looked pretty dedicated to the cause. Daily Noob, thank you for the raid. Welcome in, folks. Good to see you. Can we get toes in the chat for the Daily Noob? Wonderful having you with us, coming in from Star Citizen. What were you guys up to? Hope you had yourselves a good stream. Coyote, thanks for the bits, dude. Yeah, hair checks out. This is a man you can tell wears his headphones. So that's 4.9. That's what we're getting this month. And there might be other things in it, some small things, some stuff for you to check out that don't make it on here. But for the most part, 4.9 seems to be focused on fixing the game. And again, it's not going to do all of that in one patch, but 4.9 is the start. It's the shift. It's the nudge, maybe you could call it, and we'll see if it really goes far. 4.10 though, is where a lot more stuff comes in, and this is the mix-up of the year. Streamer's great, just grinding the event a little. Xenothreat, you guys update or you guys get all the rewards? I guess not, since you said grinding the event a little bit. I haven't tried it at all though. Is it any fun? Folks, you heard it there though. If you do want to see some more gameplay, Xenothreat, checking out what's going on with the new updates and new events, give Daily Noob a little click, throw a sub, see when he's on next time, get some actual Star Citizen gameplay. Can't just spend all your time listening to people talk about the game, huh? Why these are doing new audios, and then they have to change everything when Star Audio comes in. Perhaps not. Perhaps they're doing the stuff that Star Audio does not affect, like just the sound files, as opposed to the way it's delivered. You're watching the stream and you're literally crying because you want to play this game, but your family doesn't allow you to spend money on games. Is there any way you can help a girl gamer out too? Honestly, if you can't spend money on games, this is going to be a hard game to get into. If you have a computer to play it, there are free fly events. So the game itself becomes free to play, but you do have to get the computer first, which can be a struggle. Xeno solo is a grind. Krasik's got his blueprints in a day. All right, let's look at 4.10. So the big thing that was delayed out of 4.9 is the Siege of Orison. Now in 4.10, they describe it as a new operation. Siege of Orison introduces instanced FPS gameplay where players assault Ninetales controlled platforms in coordinated team-based encounters tied to mission-driven progression. This is actually kind of wild because I covered this in another video on Space Tomato 2. It's already up. Elite Dangerous Operations were just launched this week, and these are literally instanced team-based missions where you progress through. Like, you can't, this is crazy. Could you write this? They both call them operations. They don't even call Siege of Orison an operation normally. Normally, Siege of Orison is called like a global event, but because they're changing it, now it's a different name. And the name is Operation, the same thing that Elite Dangerous is putting out to do the same thing. It's so funny. And yeah, this is literally an instance situation for 3 to 4 players, just like Siege of Orison. Some of them are shipping and on foot, but some of them are just on foot, just like Siege of Orison. You get like things out of it that you can unlock to craft. It's actually wild, but I'll stop freaking out about that. That is the big thing that got delayed, and because of that, instancing is delayed because you can't run Siege of Orison without instancing in the way they want to do it. They describe this as saying implementing instancing to create closed gameplay spaces with controlled access. Access is managed through instance prerequisites, party leader ownership, and safeguards that prevent or remove ineligible players. So, kind of sucks that it was moved. But they also said here that this card with this update has been moved from Star Citizen 1.0 to Alpha 4.10. And that is probably one of the first times we've actually seen a... How can I get to the roadmap easily? That's probably one of the first times we've seen a card from 1.0 get moved into an actual patch. The most tangible 1.0 progress we've been able to feel, I think, so far, is actually getting a card moved into a real patch. This is a big deal for Star Citizen. And it's unfortunate that it got delayed, but it's good that they delayed something that was already not looking like it was going to work. Ruben, dude, we get blessed with the absolute royalties up in here. Thank you for dropping by, man. If you guys don't know Ruben, I don't think you're streaming on Twitch, right? He is putting out the video though. The cheeky YouTube video. He's also gives just the best updates. I think your main place is Twitter for those updates. But absolutely on top of the news. Appreciate you, man. Hope you're having a good one. Boom, boom, boom. Next, CIG needs to take a page out of X4 for its player economy roadmap. Bro, I would love to see X4 systems in Star Citizen, but X4 is a single player game. They're running on a different rule set. You bet the ED devs are following SC and just getting in on it early while it's a hot topic. That actually would be so funny. They're like, guys, we already have instances. Like they're about to do this instance thing. Why don't we just release this 2 weeks before 2 weeks before they do? Would be hilarious. The game is cheap if you only get the starter. The real expanse becomes all the other stuff that makes it better and easier if you really get into it. Then upgrading the PC to handle it gets really costly in today's chaos. Yeah, I would 100% encourage people to always go in and get everything you need for your computer first. Don't spend money on chips. Yeah, you have a PC. Cool. Then yeah, if you check out, like, there are a lot of giveaways that are usually going on, as Mrs. Tomato said, and the free fly times, definitely the best time to get in. If your family won't let you buy games, don't fret. The game won't be fun to play for a long time. You'll be self-dependent by things. The people who couldn't buy this in 2017 are definitely blessed to have waited. Wisdom drop. A society grows great when old men plant trees whose shade they will never sit in. A society grows bad when old men pledge for ships they'll never fly beyond Alpha. A society goes bad when the old men are flying the ships. I'm sorry, guys, but like, you had your time. Take one for the team. Have you seen the way some people drive? I don't want to think about how it's going to be when they're flying spaceships. They're not going to be spaceships. They're going to be into the side of your house ships. And you're going to have to pay. Insurance ain't covering that. All right. Let's continue though. 4.10. Where else are we up to? So the next thing that is out of 4.10 is the mission giver Recco Battaglia. I made a video about the return of these mission givers and the long process they've used to get to them. One of the things that was still most mysterious about them, I guess, in their return was if they were going to be instanced, because before they weren't. But before, we only had 50 people in an instance, so most folks weren't going to these mission givers. Now, a lot more people playing, a lot more time to get caught up trying to get into these missions, and I think this delay kind of answered the question for us. The fact that up here they say they have delayed Siege of Orison and all instance related content out of 4.9 and into a 4.10 scheduled mid-August update. This isn't Siege of Orison related, so I'm assuming what they're saying here is the in-person representation of mission givers will be instanced. And that's probably good. It's probably very good for the performance. But it also means that this is going to be a kind of story-based edition with some actual real storyline to go through, with characters to meet, with an NPC to talk to, and have a more cinematic experience with. So I think a lot of people are going to be interested in seeing this and happy it's happening. But also a lot of folks are like, why are they fixing... Why are they adding NPCs instead of fixing the game? Like, they're fixing the NPCs, sir. So this is a good addition. I like this one, but I do wonder how much people are going to be interested in it again. If anything, it represents the fact that we'll get more mission givers overall, not just this one. They added the base blueprints of Shubin for her. Oh, that's cool. Nice. Nothing is more immersion breaking than a line of people trying to talk to an NPC, and the NPC saying the same thing over and over. Yeah, that'd be funny. Nexar. I don't know, man. Glad to have you with us, though. Nisha, free fly event. The next free fly event will probably be in July. It's July right now. If you look for the Foundation Festival, let's see. So last year the Foundation Festival was in July. It should be in July again this year. And this is usually a pretty big free fly event that is specifically geared towards new players and people who want to jump in the game. Now, because of the state of the game is the way it is, I don't know if that's going to happen. But what you can do is you can either make an account right now on the website for free. You can use !referral, I believe it is. We'll bring up a link for you. That will get you basically everything you need to do to play when this does start. And when you do that, it will let you into the game. You'll be able to rent most of the ships. You can try a bunch of missions. There will be this sort of new player resource this guide system that they try to make. Now, they also do an extra referral reward when this thing starts. And you could wait until then to make your free account. It's completely up to you, but you do have to make a free account to take part in the free fly, and then the free fly usually runs for like 10 days, I think. They call it a multi-week program. So yeah, usually it looks like it started. Oh, wow. Interesting. So usually it actually starts the first or second week of the month. So this should be happening in the next few days. Potentially next Wednesday. But they might be waiting for 4.9. Yeah, the join tomato link will work. Sorry about that. I am surprised that we haven't heard anything about this yet, considering it's usually so early, but I'm guessing they're waiting for 4.9 and they'll release it then. I'd keep an eye out for this, free fly wise, and then honestly, you'll be able to get the game from a giveaway at some point. Next are reminding people to follow. Don't think you saw a comment on suit lockers. Is that more likely 410? No, suit lockers would be 411 at the earliest, in my opinion. Because I don't think they were going to make it for 4.9. People can gift ships, but yes, the free fly events are a good way to test the game. Yeah. All right. Continuing on. Super heavy armor and super heavy weapon. We already knew plenty about this. You guys have probably seen videos on it. I won't go too deep into it. It is related to Siege of Orison, so they're delaying it. Now, it's not necessarily it's not necessary for Siege of Orison, but considering it also had some of its own issues, like some glitches and stuff with how it was performing, it's probably better that they just delay it and use Siege of Orison as the excuse for it. We get it a month later, it performs a little bit better. It is more disappointing for sure, but if you're gonna delay everything else, we get some new Wicklow ships with the Drake Clipper with special livery. Item recovery changes are coming in as well. Ship loadout improvements they're calling. Updating ship and item recovery to better support custom loadouts during timed claims. Optional expedite fees, freight elevator item claims, and debuting a free recovery option when losses are detected outside the player's control. We heard about this. We saw it was coming to the PTU. It's good, but it's still not item recovery tier 1. Not for stuff you put on your body, and that is key. I think this has gone on a lot longer than most people, certainly myself, thought it would, and we're still dealing with item recovery tier 0 for a lot of things, so hopefully we see something better than this in 4.11. But for now, it's just some minor movements on ship loadouts. Ninetales armor updates in Siege of Orison, and the fuel tanks and the consumption rebalance. I'm not even getting into that right now because that's its own bucket of worms, not just a jar. So that is a look into what's happening here. And I gotta say, it's good. This is certainly good for Star Citizen. It's a bummer for forward progress. It's good for stability and for giving the people who are joining this game now, who I'm sorry to say, but as one of the folks who've been here for a while, the people who are joining right now are the most important. Okay? We know what can happen with this game. We know what directions it can go, and we know how bad it can be. But people who are joining right now, they're gonna get 10 minutes of exposure to this game compared to our 10 years, and like, it's a lot easier to turn someone away from the game in that time. So I think focusing on that is key. I just don't think this is the way to do it. I think we had to go back to the letter from the chairman in 2025 to find that, where he laid it out for us. Ah, dang it. The other one in 2025, the one at the beginning of the year. Yeah. In this letter, they said, to achieve our goals, we are making a fundamental change. We are decoupling feature development from content creation and general fixes. This means new features will no longer hold up content delivery or risks destabilizing the live environment. This approach will leverage the tech preview channel, which was reserved for major new pieces of technology like the replication layer and server meshing, but will now expand to gameplay feature testing too. Except not so much, because it still hasn't happened. They continue saying, when a new feature is deemed complex or risky enough to require focused testing, we'll introduce a separate experimental PTU channel dedicated to that feature. I got one for this. What a novel approach. What a crazy idea. Testing in this isolated channel will allow us to refine and stabilize the feature without impacting content and broader development work. Only once the feature is fully greenlit will it integrate into our standard Evo PTU Live pipeline. So the example here shows, imagine the words on this too. Let's do one of these. Imagine this is 4 point, that's not a letter. How do I do the thing? I wanna write on it. There we go. Okay. Imagine this is 4.7. So the PTU would then come out for, oh no, you know what? We could just do it this way. This is 4.8. The PTU then for 4.9 comes out, right? 4.9. And in the meantime, they delay instancing out of 4.9 and say 4.9 is, or instancing is going to go in 4.10. So what would happen is instancing will get dropped in the ePTU here. Whatever, you know what it says. 4.8 goes live right here, or 9, whatever. This is also supposed to be a 9. And then Evocati here is dropped in for 4.10. Now, instancing is being tested in Evocati 4.10, but this is not what is live. What we're playing is still 4.9.1. And in the meantime, there is an Evocati patch for 4.10 that is functional, and there is an ePTU patch for instancing that is also functional and testing this feature. So it gets tested for much longer than like the 2 to 4 weeks they were just trying to test instancing. This is how feature development is supposed to be going in Star Citizen. This is how they said it was going to go back at the beginning of 2025. It did not happen in 2025. I think it happened twice. I think for server meshing mainly. And it really only started happening towards the end of the year with some AI improvements, with engineering development. I think they did a crafting one of these, a transport system one of these this year. They just had one for the instancing I mentioned, but like, look at how few times they've used the tech preview channel. Like, think about the stuff that came into the game that was broken in 4.8, stuff like ship-to-ship refueling with the NPCs, the command module on the Ironclad. Why weren't these things in the tech preview channel for 2 to 3 months? I think generally the answer is resources. They don't have the money or the people to be able to actually do this style of development that Chris said they wanted to do, because this is a letter from Chris. Chris is a very optimistic person, and I think the realities of development are that they have much more important places for the money to go than to a yet another version of this game that's running all the time, that they're spending money on running servers for, which, you know, prices have been going up over the last couple years, you know? So I think they feel a little bit of the crunch. ePTU is not being used as much. Features are not getting as stabilized before reaching Evocati PTU and live. And unfortunately, that means that we don't get as stable of a game. That's just the way it is. That's why a lot of people want Squadron to be done, but it's not. And I don't know if they're going to be able to start doing this more. They tried it with instancing. I genuinely hope they can get more of this done soon, but this is a difficult path for them to have taken, and it hasn't been working so far, and I do worry how long it's going to take for them to be able to settle into this kind of a format, if ever. So that is a look at the big delay to 4.9, why it's happening, why I think while it is a good approach to fixing the game, it is not what's going to fix the underlying problem they have right now, which is the same one that was in the video in May, and it's the same one that's laid out here. They need a parallel testing environment so that they're not putting unstable features into the live build. We'll see if they can do it, but that's where I'm at with this. Cheers. What game loops are currently the least broken? Mining is pretty good. Unfortunately, things that require tracking very fast objects are rough because of the you got a lot of desync going on. So you're just going to be shooting at blank space a lot of times. Give us your money, we need 1.0. Chris said we will get 2,000 people on one server by the end of this year. You think that's really coming this year? No. I think they want to. I think dynamic server meshing not getting an update from Benoit this month is probably a sign that maybe it's not as far along as they were hoping. Also good to remember, the instancing is part of the server meshing, dynamic server meshing. So the fact that instancing needs more work means that the full version of dynamic server meshing is being pushed off, which means their progress, expected progress, is being pushed off. And like I said, Chris is optimistic, very optimistic. Peeing in the snow and watching it melt. Gross. That's sick. All right, before we move on to the monthly report, which is a pretty exciting one, we got some good news in here. Now we get to the fun part of the stream. All right, we're going to talk about good stuff now. But before we get to that, I've actually got other good stuff to talk about. What, dude? Freaking Toes Gang, our top toes of Q2, the biggest supporters. I want to give a big thanks, a freaking big ol' thanks, like a serious, actual thank you. If you did not know, babies are expensive and preparing for them, much so. So I want to thank the community seriously for how much support there has been in preparing for the little baby boy, little Tomat, on the way. And a special thanks to our top toes, our top supporters, top folks popping up on the Toes Gang board throughout the quarter. We do this every quarter starting this year, and this is the second one of the year. So for those who were the most frequent Toes Gang supporters, we've got a Argo Atlas for our top supporter, and we've got a couple Pulse hover bikes for the our other supporters. So without further ado, a shout out to our number 3 top supporter in quarter 3. Baltzin. Mr. Baltzino. Appreciate you, my dude. Baltzin's also been actually pretty instrumental in the org app, in the certification segments of the org app, in getting people certified, getting folks through their evaluations to get new stuff. So like, all around shout out to my man. I appreciate you, dude. You've been awesome. In the second spot this quarter, actually we had a tie for most appearances between Alex K. Blah Blah, my man Mr. Blah Blah, and John Cabot, who actually gifted out a couple of giveaways too during our streamathon. Huge thanks to him for that. That was a big engine for hype during Invictus Week. I appreciate you guys both. Thank you for showing up in May, showing up all throughout the quarter, being real ones and being homies. Top toes. And our number 1 spot, bet you guys can't guess who it is. The MVP, the one and only, the man himself, Mr. PKP. I don't know if he's in chat right now. I haven't seen him today, but Mr. PKP has been absolutely instrumental in a lot of different parts of Space Tomato right now. Being a coach, helping to guide some of the events and make some good activities for people playing in GII. Obviously, moderating here on the stream a lot of times. You guys will see him in here slapping you around if you get a little bit too start acting a fool. And also, of course, like freaking Toes Gang. The Toes Gang man himself. 2 quarters in a row. Locked it down. Much love to the guy. I hope he is doing well wherever he is. Go freaking DM him, spam him, and call him PKP. And we'll reach out to him. If you guys, I don't think anybody who won was in chat. I think everybody who was on the top of Toes Gang is actually not in the chat right now. But not a worry. Mrs. Tomato will be reaching out to you guys if you were up there, and well, thank you if you were. Appreciate you. Oh yeah, he's also member relations. That's right. He helps rig out a lot with the member relations stuff, who in turn is helping Mrs. Tomato out a lot with making sure that we don't fall completely apart at the member side of things on GII. So thank you guys. Team MR. Y'all are amazing. This community is the best thing ever. And I hope it never ends. I hope we can keep doing this. Star Citizen stays in alpha for 30 more years, right, everyone? That's what we want. We want to make it end. No, I'm actually happy that we can talk about other games besides Star Citizen. We don't have to stick with that. Fola is also a legend. Dude, yeah. Honestly, I'm surprised not to see Fola on the top of Toes Gang, but Fola is 100% a legend. There are a lot of people who were not in those top 3 who are full-on legends of the community and do a freaking ton to support. I mean, somebody who doesn't want to be named made the whole difference for us to be able to upgrade this computer. So the gratitude does not fall short of the rest of Toes Gang. You've been lacking because of this, baby. Someone needs more drugs. Depends on what kind, I guess. There are games other than Star Citizen. Yeah. It's called Squadron 42. Uncle Fola actually is has a ring to it. All right, I'm gonna actually take a little bit of a bathroom break here and go check on the Mrs. T while you guys get a chance to listen to what Benoit had to say. I think if I click into this video, it should be the right time. There is a line that you guys should know Benoit said earlier this year, because it's important, not just regarding the current video that I'm working on for Space Tomato Gaming, which should be coming out probably late next week, if not early the following week. But also the deep dive that I put out on Space Tomato 2 yesterday. I think that was yesterday. And some stuff we're about to read about in the monthly report here. So let me pull it up. It's about 2 minutes. Planet Tech, Genesis, Starkitect, important stuff. You guys listen to this. I'll be back in a little bit. Fake news, nothing next to Star Citizen. Dibs TV. You might not be wrong. Can we get a shout out for Dibs? I assume the TV name means you put on a good TV. I'll be right back. I can't hear him. What happened? Where's my sound going? Oh, it's going to our capture card. That makes less than 0 cents.
There's a lot of some of the work we've discussed. Obviously, I can't share the details of what we're doing, but that needs to be completed. So for now, we're not intending a full blanket web at all.
No, this goes back to what we were saying before about the biggest quality of life thing. All this work going into long-term persistence and to item recovery V1 and stuff. It's about, and the freight elevator. It's about making sure you keep your stuff.
Yeah.
Making sure you keep your stuff. Making sure you keep your stuff. Making sure you keep your stuff. So we've got tools. We've got logs. We've got
A lot of logs.
We got a lot of logs. We got a lot of information. A lot of information. So it is our intention to do a targeted correction to those areas that
Are
need it,
problematic. For that needed.
and preserve as much of the gotten gains of the everyday Star Citizen as possible.
Exactly.
So no blanket wipe.
That's right.
Okay.
Cool. So we've answered that. That's done. What else you got?
Just hit me with a bow cruiser. Oh, I got a message. Hold on. Where is it? I skipped at it. Was the battlecruiser mentioned in SCL just now planned? Lol. Planned by somebody.
Whoa.
All right. No comments. No comments about the size other than it's big. Cool. It's big. It's just big and it's cool and it is so damn cool. Mm-hmm. All right. That's it. Oh cool. No.
Yeah.
One last question.
Yeah.
Tell me something we don't know about. Tell me something we should be excited about that we're not currently excited about. Give us something nobody's expecting.
That's hard. You're putting me on the spot now.
I'm putting you on the spot, mister. Is the battlecruiser coming?
Okay. Well, one thing we didn't talk about in detail that I could give background info on is Genesis.
Okay.
And Nix1, right?
Okay.
So, I mean, we're obviously working on this. That's no surprise to anyone. But the one thing that I'm excited about is that we've kind of conjoined development on 3 separate things in order to ship the best Nix experience that we could offer, right? And so, obviously, Genesis is. I
just want to apologize. I just got back and I was checking on Mrs. Tomato and realized that I put you guys like a full minute and a half ahead of where you're supposed to be. This is the part that matters. It's not the wipe stuff. Sorry.
And the Planet Tech that's behind it, but also the Starkitect work. And so, for those who don't know, Starkitect is a way for us to be smarter about building planets and the human populations that are on them. So settlements, buildings, distro centers, LZs, name it, right? So historically, we've placed that by hand. And so Starkitect is a way for us to give designers control over the planetary scale of how these are distributed. And it's that's a fairly fundamental change to how the game is made.
I agree with that. I know I'm probably less, not like my word validates his or anything, but from a perspective of actually playing Star Citizen a lot and becoming rather, I guess, disillusioned with the idea of like taking a mission and then getting a follow-up mission that's 25 gigamothers across the star system and needing to fly all the way over there. This is one of the best possible things they could have ever done for Star Citizen. And we covered it last stream, so I won't get into too much detail on it. But the fact that they have been able to combine this with Planet Tech at the same time means that the delivery of Nix 1 will probably be one of the bigger releases from like a design standpoint that they've done in years. 412, hopefully.
And the third one is what we call the population control / population manager. So currently you have AIs in the game, right, that are sometimes hand placed, sometimes dynamically spawned. We've talked about
spawn like a
gazillion
crackhead just hitting a
times.
spawn button.
Yeah, which is my biggest pet peeve, by the way. If you wanna, that's my trigger point. If you want to trigger me in a meeting, just tell me there's another overspawn issue. But anyway, so population management and control is a third component of this. So I'm excited about this because as we're working towards Nix 1, we're aligning all those three things into one strike team to deliver that together. So I'm excited about that because those are like three major development pieces that Star Citizen needs to scale that we're bringing in together. So for pop control, instead of having all these either hand-placed or dynamically spawned AIs in key areas, that's a system that will basically manage the server capacity of AI agents to be able to distribute them at the right place, but also spawn the right AIs for the right jobs, manage the priority of these spawn requests, all that stuff. And so it's such a much more scalable system that will allow us to really like build up a dense universe than we've had before. So I'm excited.
I feel like that's got to depend on dynamic server meshing, but we'll see where this goes. Of course, the big missing question is like, yeah, you can spawn maybe a lot of AI, but what do they do? Can they actually handle themselves? Because a lot of AI in this game can't. So we'll see where that goes. It's an important and interesting development. You guys know very well we will be following it monthly, if not weekly, here on the channel. If you're looking for updates on these kinds of big systems or the way that these things go over time, we might always talk about that. Drop a little follow, maybe a subscription. Come on by another time. You're watching this not live? Drop into the live session. We're pretty cool. Jaybird's an old man. Who would have thought? Not me with that name. Wait, no. No, Jaybird is your name. I'm thinking of something else. Thinking of somebody who had like an old name from like some old show. I don't get old man vibes though. So your job. Very Fortnite coded. Let's get into this monthly report. This is gonna be a long one. Gonna have a couple videos to pull up while we do. The Corsair, by the way, the Corsair discount is for peripherals. I gotta add that on there. Basically anything above the desk. Mouse, keyboards, headsets, mouse pads. But what you can also do is if there are any ongoing sales at Corsair, you can use our link and still access those sales, and you'd be able to support the channel if you're interested in that. Just I saw somebody use that one. All right, let's get started. The June monthly report. Like I said, the biggest thing here is going to be this core gameplay session. We have a lot of stuff to talk about there. We will be doing a separate session at the end for the ships section. We will pull up the ship tracking ship sheet. There she blows. And we got a lot of updates to do here. Not as many as last month, but we've got some stuff to update here, probably due to this ship monthly report and because of some releases. A lot of things to do. Let's get into it. Should just randomly play Halo in one of your streams. That'd be sick. Honestly, I would love to start playing Halo, but I do plan on playing Wing Commander soon. I think that would be fun, playing through all of Wing Commander, seeing what it's actually all about. I'm one of those people who I never played it. I wasn't that cool back then. Brigadier Bo just checked in with 40 stream streak. Hold on, I gotta update that. Because I do think you're already up there pretty high. Yup. Wow, I had you at 26 before. It's been a little while. There you go. Cheers to you, Brig. Hope you're doing well. Alrighty, we're starting off with AI content, as we have been for the last 7 years. Gosh. In June, the AI content continued to support several initiatives for Alpha 4.9. They also worked alongside mission design to set up comms calls and NPCs for several upcoming missions and locations. AI content then supported a performance capture shoot to ensure that the content will flow seamlessly once the audio is mastered and the animations are solved. Alongside this, the team planned out some narrative-driven initiatives for new behaviors and directions to explore. Not a ton. This is the stuff we mostly expected. Comms calls, definitely, with these missions that are coming up. Even Recco has a comms call. AI content, generally taking the stuff that AI features and tech works on and applying it into things in the game. So this will be more specific, but this is usually more forward-looking. So see what they say here. Last month saw AI features and tech fix an issue with the super heavy NPCs not being able to use their miniguns. Some human AI issues were fixed too, including NPCs continuing to fire at targets they could not see. Oh my god. I really hope that's fixed for good. For the Apex Valakar, the devs introduced the ability to constrain it to an area while avoiding another. It also received laser and EMP attacks. What? I haven't seen anything about this on the airwaves. Is this not mention worthy? Why is the Valakar have? I am reading this right, yeah? Okay, cool. Sick. This is a freaking Valakar's a Gundam. It gained also the ability to switch between attacks, and improvements were made to surface sound detection. For the Yormandi, a bug causing it to get stuck in reactions was fixed. See, I would expect the Yormandi to have laser and EMP. The Valakar, that's wild. Good for it. It's been, I guess, working out. Although not yet integrated into the PU, improvements were made to the flight AI for fleeing behind objects and counter-chasing behaviors. I kind of like that. And updates were made to general flight behavior. All right, let's drop back to CitizenCon. No, we don't even have to search that. Dressed to impress. Des. All right, I guess I don't know the name of that one. Let's just go back to CitizenCon 2023. 2024. 5, 4. Dressed to kill. Who thought they were rhyming like that? This presentation here. You guys remember this? Oh, he's already dead. This part. So this was the reintroduction of the sandworm that they introduced back in 2016 and then never got to us. And the idea behind this battle, I believe it was in Star Citizen Live, they said that this ended up being not fun. And so they kind of went back to figuring out how they could build a conflict around a sandworm that was sandbox focused, so it could happen in multiple places. It had the sandworm actually move around and do these kinds of dives in, get baited, and have multiple stages to the fight. But also have it be multi-platform, ships, vehicles, people. So this is not the same as what we have in Stormbreaker, which is just FPS combat. And we've been seeing updates about this throughout the monthly report. We'll probably see more throughout this monthly report as well, that they have been getting closer and closer to getting this into a place where they want it to be in the game, roaming around a moon or moons and attacking people, allowing for you to do what they like to call monster hunting. It's going to be a whole part of the game, actually. This presentation just had an entire thing about like the variants they were going to make, the matrix they were going to make, the whole point of this, and then all of the different aliens that they wanted to have in the game. It's a lot. So, all that to say, this actually might be something significant added to the game fairly soon. And when I say fairly soon, I mean like in the next 8 months. I don't think this is a priority for them right now, but the stuff that they're talking about is becoming more and more polished, more and more complex, and I think getting closer and closer to release. But they've been talking about it a while. What picture is in your head now? Valakar get new special ability to summon Ed Sheeran. If not killed fast enough, he one-shots you with a ukulele. That man play a lot of ukulele. Can't say I'm familiar. Continuing on. Not enough time on the Valakar. Although not yet integrated into the PU, improvements were made to the AI. I already talked about that. Let's go on to animation. The animation team fleshed out animations for the Apex Valakar while planning for the next round of creatures. They also worked on the mission giver Battalia, both in her physical location and when spoken to over comms. It's kind of disconcerting the way she looks over comms. I'm trying not to make any calls yet. But I quite liked her original appearance. The concept art in her original appearance in game are a little bit different, but the biggest thing her character has, like the most notable thing she has, is she's kind of grizzled and unhappy with the world because of her injury, and so she had this kind of cybernetic they spent a lot of time working on and modeling and figuring out the animations for. And I'm hoping she still has that. I think that was a nice bit of character. Give him a laser and EMP Ed Sheeran isn't far-fetched. Yeah, I guess that's fair. Art on the character side. The character art team spent the month working on a new armor set, mission rewards, updates to the Ninetales gang, and other upcoming items. Support for the Starware initiative continued too. Alongside this, the concept art team progressed with a new combat armor. The Starware initiative is pretty important. You guys know it quite well, I imagine, if you come here often. If you don't, this is how they introduced Starware. If it's not super clear what this is, it is combinations of clothing and armor. But this is something people have been asking for a long time. Them Chris Roberts dance moves. So throughout the monthly report, we'll probably hear more about this. We actually will. I know we will. And this is a good one to keep an eye on, because this is the kind of thing that is like, oh, I want to play with the ability to only do stealth stuff. No, this is how you figure out what armor you like. And this is why those flight suits have started to be a thing. You can actually find flight suits right here. Best overall G-force. And I guess good EVA mobility. Didn't know that. So that's Starware. Now we're going to skip over art on the ship section. That's coming after this. We'll come back with the ship sheet. Art on the weapons section, though, doesn't always happen. In June, the weapons team continued through the final phase of production on a new large caliber weapon. I like large caliber weapons, those are fun. In addition, they pushed forward with content for upcoming patches and numerous weapon paints for various upcoming events. The team's ongoing material polish passes and updates continued too, and they're looking forward to upcoming tech that will require cross-team collaboration. Bar Citizen stuff, some community things, player-to-player trade update. That really gave people a fun fright that didn't end up happening. But onwards to core gameplay. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, also attendees of the Bar Citizen World Tour received a shattered Vandal lance to display in their hangar, with more chances to pick one up as the tour continues. Very, very unique piece of loot. Proud to say that the folks of Jump Point Network, hosting the event that my org did with Lofty the other day, had gifted one of these out to a chosen member. That member was Balton. Congratulations, dude. He was, like I said before, a very big part of the effort in making that happen, and was voted by those involved with the preparations. So well done. And I hope that I hope you can like kill someone with it or something, because it is shattered, so it's still sharp. Make use. Gift that keeps giving. Core gameplay. This is the best part of the monthly report in my opinion, and it's huge this month, so I won't waste time like I already have. In June, the core gameplay team shifted focus to a dedicated bug fixing push alongside the player experience and QA teams. This is what we just read about in the roadmap roundup. Much of the month was spent identifying the root causes of issues affecting day-to-day gameplay, including problems with hangar and freight elevator flow, quantum travel, star map routing, and vehicles being falsely destroyed or were flagged for claim. Alongside this, the team kept moving forward on a range of content, technology, and feature initiatives. So that was them just rehashing the stuff that went down with the 4.8 complaints and the fixes they want to do with 4.9 and going on. Now the new stuff. Well, almost. The upcoming Apocalypse Arms heavy machine gun received support for magazines mounted to the super heavy suit's backpack. Players can now load magazines into the backpack by hand, even when it's worn by another player. And empty magazines now eject automatically. This work also prompted a smaller rework of explosion damage so that it spreads more evenly across body parts, plus fixes for the ammo count display and magazines failing to eject correctly. I saw some folks saying that there is gameplay like this in Helldivers, where you have somebody who's running something that's a little more powerful, and so the person who's with them has to do the reloading. I like that. It does seem like players can reload themselves here. I think it would have been cooler for them to just make it strong enough that it needed to be balanced by somebody else reloading it and healing with it. I've heard that you don't necessarily have to have somebody heal you as well. So we'll see how they balance this out. They got themselves another month of development on it, so they can keep balancing it in then and even after then. But for now, it's certainly an interesting addition to the game. I think we can probably find a quick example of it on YouTube. Super heavy armor. Infinite Space got something for us.
And it's insane. I don't do schedules or...
Stop. So this is the armor they're talking about. This is the gun. All of the ammo is magazine belt fed from this backpack, and the backpack's used for nothing else but carrying the ammo. Clearly it just shoots for a really long time. But I guess this would be an interesting anti-ship deterrent, maybe. But I do feel like we don't have enough stuff to make this super useful yet. That being said, it is a cool asset for the game at large and long term. I'll be interested in seeing how people use it, or how we use it. I think we use it as ODSTs. Anyways, continuing on from that, they said supporting the HMD also required changes to the melee system to handle different buttstock strike damage values, buttstock, which fixed a bug where they weren't dealing damage at all. Separately, holographic previews for tractor beamed items now use each item's attachable offset where available, making their appearance more accurate. For item recovery, the team finished a basic version of the individual item claim mode and began work on the full version. The full version, I'm guessing, being the ability to item claim entire ships worth of stuff, maybe? You can see that it says on-site and off-site here when you're looking at your warehouse claim mode. You got free claims for paints. It shows you the price to claim for. So this is literally like a buyback store. The idea of don't fly without rebuy becomes more real every update. But it's also interesting because this only occurs for things that you've purchased. This is the claim system. Or maybe this is also just talking about things you've insured in game. I can't be sure. Anybody in chat know that? You get the super heavy armor from Foxtrot contracts in bunkers in Stanton. Yeah, the HMG sounds good. Sounds good. Sounds Bert. Ship paints can now be bricked and recovered like other components. That's what we see here. Fixes went in for bricked ships that remain flyable after a full component swap, and for loadouts not being respected after a claim. Claim timer improvements also continued to cut down on unnecessary claims. Ships destroyed while inside a hangar can now be claimed for free. Yay. The Super Heavy is going to be nasty inside and for boarding. Albeit right now it feels like it doesn't give you enough protection armor-wise. Dude, boarding with one of those things sounds mean. Imagine seeing that walking down your Idris hallway. Like, what do? You need boom tubes. Like Tyker Roasteri said. Tyker Roast. Tyker Roastery? I think it's Tyke Roastery. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Continuing on, this is where it gets interesting for Starware. A new tool validates and repairs player and NPC loadouts, catching the setup errors that would otherwise break compatibility. The team also added clothing prerequisites for certain armors. For example, the Caldera Novikov suit may require a specific clothing item to be worn first. Work also began on Starware's UI, which took several iterations with UX design to get right, given the complexity of the equipment rules. New additions include a blocked state that tells players when an item can't be equipped because another item is in the way, indicators for whether a piece is space-worthy, and an improved weight bar at the top of the inventory. Exclamation point space-worthy in the Twitch chat will tell you how space-worthy you are. So when they say Starware UI, I think they mean like how it interacts with the inventory system. Tichero Esteri. Ah. Okay. Yeah, I was not going to get that otherwise then. Thank you for helping me realize that. And you can see this mostly looks like the inventory we have now, but a little more polished. Well, we can go back to the initial place where they showed us that first concept. I believe it was about a year ago now. Yeah, July 3rd. About a year ago to the date they showed us this concept. Here's what it looked like at that time. Fairly close to what we have now. We still don't have great stats displays. This is what they're saying it's going to. This is definitely looks more like what we have in game. And you can see it was inspired by this. It got fairly close. But this one is still building on the old concept here. I think specifically what I'm noticing most is the icons and how they look. The new weight bar up here obviously looks a little cleaner. And you can see a little bit of stuff going on. Whoa. And we're lost. Oh, I hate that. So you can see a little bit more stats here. I think these maybe are the little caution signs that say you can't wear that. I don't know. Maybe that means it's broken. This looks like a honeycomb, 756 quality honeycomb. Here's a moldy sugar cube. And this is a ice cube. I don't know. There's not really too much to see here. Looks a little cleaner. Icons have some more information there, but that's about it. Just wanted to drop in and say thanks for the consistent quality content and congrats on the Squadron 42 inclusion. Thank you, Charlie Salt. I appreciate it. I will not be going to the event, but I do appreciate that they sent an invite out and considered us. You think part of Starware was adding pockets to everything might be part of why it needs a UI? Oh, you mean one of my favorites? Life. One of my absolute favorite CitizenCon presentations. Because this was actually never talked about again. Where is it? It might be 21. Did we do anything in 21? Oh, no. It was 23. It was 2023 because it was when I was there. And I think it was Living on the Edge. It was not. It's a hard one to find. That's how obscure it is. It's so short and it's so obscure and they never talk about it that it's almost... Here it is. Patches. Patches O'Houlihan. They wanted us, not patches, pouches. They wanted us to have a modular pouch storage system, which I can definitely see working better with the current inventory. I do think they're still going to do this, but it's funny how much this just completely disappeared from discussion. Minigun doesn't feel right, probably because the game will be rated teen. It just does not have their... Oh my god, there's no way this game ends up rated teen. Come on, man. Pretty cool. The statue in Levski is dedicated to a kid that got shot in the head because he stopped working on the front line. Like, if they go teen with this, that's going to be a really weird choice. I hope it's not. Then again, I guess... I guess it'd be like that. That would get them the most sales. You feel like this is scrapped? What, with the great inventory? I mean, if anything, this works better with the current inventory, right? Look at how this would work with the previous inventory here. Look how miserable this would be. Now look at how it would work with the current inventory. You just have the tabs on the side here. I think they're absolutely building for this. Just a matter of when they're finally going to work on it again. It's just one of those things. Push the shot. They keep shouting swear words and threatening to kill your dog. Yeah, and talking about their cousins and stuff. Birth certificate post passport for baby might not be done on time due to American ways. And he would be so little right at the beginning of cold and flu season. Yeah. Oh, I love a tactical pouch. Updates to several core systems were made for Starkitect. Right, just throwing us into the deep end there. We talked about this, right, Benoit, earlier? This will fundamentally change how designers place locations and sandbox content across planets. Now, harvestables and loot are context-aware of their surrounding location and environment, so designers can match loot to the environment more easily. For instance, instead of manually placing outlaw-specific loot boxes, the system will now detect that a location is outlaw-controlled and select the right loot type automatically. This... I want to go back and check something with you guys, because I can remember something, but maybe not exactly. Maybe I'm a little off. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but I feel like I've heard this before.
At the
All right, let's listen to this.
Of tags that they want items in the loot pool to match, and then maybe some that they don't. So you can say, I want things that are tagged with weapon, but not things that are tagged with ammunition. And then what really makes it powerful is it's not just a uniform distribution of, okay, we have all of these potential items, just pick one at random. When the designers are specifying tags to use, they can assign a weight to each one and say, I want rifles with a weight of 5, and I want pistols with a weight of 10. So you're twice as likely to get a pistol in this crate.
So we have like full control over how many items spawn, what specifically spawns. We could even, if we wanted to, and I've actually been doing the tagging for this myself, we could actually tell a loot archetype, hey, spawn me a bunch of armor that's red. Your loot archetype could have the weapon.fps.rifle tag as an example, and that would then give you the option of all of the weapons that spawn underneath that, or that are populated underneath that tag structure. And you may then have armor.fps.heavy, which would give you all of the selection of the heavy armors under that. And then it could be gadget.medkit. So
see, I just wondered to myself if like this is the same thing they're talking about. This is like a prerequisite. If this is possibly something, well, I don't know. Let me
have a loot archetype that says, give me any rifle or any heavy piece of armor or any med kit. It's been a lot of work to get it working that way, but all of it sort of works in conjunction with each other, and with some of the future stuff coming down the pipe as well, such as Quanta. The loot generation system actually will...
Oh my god, that just triggered me like a gosh.
Will read from the parent object containers that we use in the game at the moment. So, say you're spawning containers on Hurston. Your main object container would be Hurston. And then let's say you've got Lorville, which would be L19. And then inside that, you might have, let's say that we expand the city and there's like an abandoned hovel underneath that's maybe occupied by pirates. If Quanta decides, oh, okay, so authorities came, cleared that place out, that place is now no longer a pirate base, it's now storage site for Hurston Dynamics, then all of the containers in that area then might switch to be containing Hurston equipment. Quanta can then determine way up the chain, way at the top, this is how things are now happening because AI has moved in, things have happened, things have changed, and the archetypes and the loot generation system reacts on the fly to that. So if Quanta was to decide this planet has been raided, it's been full of conflict, there's been wars here, like people are leaving in droves because it's not safe to be here anymore, the status of that planet, the richness of that planet lowers as well, to the point where then the loot generation system says, okay, where most of these containers might have been 50 to 60% full as they were, now we're only going to fill them up to like 20 to 30%.
Man,
so
the quantum system sounded so cool, and This is what I'm talking about, dude. This is the same thing with the Genesis stuff. Like they didn't get consistent across the company what the system was called, and so people call it Quanta, and then it gets confusing. Anyways, that's not the reason we watched that. We watched that because that was, I think, pretty similar to this. So let's now reread this and what it said. Harvestables and loot are now context aware of their surrounding locations and environments, so designers can match loot to the environment more easily. For instance, instead of manually placing outlaw-specific loot boxes, the system will now detect that a system is outlaw-controlled and select the right loot type automatically. So, I guess you could say that we're getting part of the quantum system delivered in this. Is that accurate? I mean, I always considered it to be part of the loot system, and that's why I kind of thought this was already part of the game. But if he was more so, it sounds like the tag structure allows them to decide item types, which maybe has been always happening. But this new system allows them to decide things like faction and use case. So yeah, I guess it's different. More Starkitect than I don't mean necessarily like names be damned. I just mean the system itself that defines if something is some way. Instead of manually placing outlaw specific loot boxes, the system will now detect that a location is outlaw controlled and select the right loot type automatically. It depends on what changes the outlaw control. SC and Squadron, the only games that have been remade 3 to 5 times. All right, continuing on with the Starkitect conversation. Crafting is undergoing similar changes for Starkitect compatibility. I don't know what that would mean, other than like crafting becomes available at locations. And the mission system required significant rework so the designers can set up mission locations and contracts at a much larger scale. This we have talked about a lot. This is all part of this is that fundamental shift. They want to have missions all over the place. They also said freight elevators and security systems are now Starkitect compatible as well. That's a big deal. All of this is pretty... These two actually are the most significant part of this, because this is like... If you got freight elevators working there, then other things must be working there, because they are always late to the party. So it seems like it maybe not polish level kind of stuff, but it is heavy functionality level stuff they're doing here, and they're talking more about it. That's nice. This procedural shift also triggered a broader review of core gameplay systems, so the team rewrote how nav points are handled and accessed to ensure any system reading that data keeps working even when a location is fully streamed out. This will allow Starkitect locations to appear correctly on the star map, be routed to, show up in the quantum travel HUD, and support location inventories for freight elevators. This is some real late stage stuff, actually. But this is good that we're reading this. If we weren't reading this kind of stuff about Starkitect, I'd be getting worried about it for the end of the year. With this sort of information, I could see Starkitect still making it in by November, December. It's good stuff, though. It's interesting to read. I think there's some more down here about it with missions, too. This procedural shift, I already read that. For the command module, everyone's favorite, the team provided heavy post-release support, addressing player-reported bugs across hangar and air traffic control interactions. Damage handling, quantum travel markers, locked doors, camera override, star map routing, physics collisions, server transition issues, room atmosphere, and more. Ahead of tech preview and player testing, tech preview, there we go, the team fixed critical instancing bugs, including players losing ownership of their instance. That's like the worst thing that could happen, I imagine. Players also being incorrectly moved into someone else's instance. That might be worse, actually. Eviction logic was also added, so a player kicked from a party gets teleported to a safe location outside the instance. All right. To support the reworked Siege of Orison, core gameplay gave the designers a way to assign NPCs to defend specific areas, removing the need for complex spawn closet setups inside of instances. The designers can now also set custom respawn locations, for example, sending a player to the nearest medical facility after completing an objective, functioning as a checkpoint system. This is especially valuable for long-form content like Siege of Orison. This is also especially funny because of what we were just talking about, the freaking operations. Siege of Orison is called an operation by CIG. It is FPS focused. It is 2 to 4 players. It puts you in an instance environment to run missions with your friends and get unique unlocks repeatably, quickly. Get into the battle, get out of it, get back into it quickly. It's the same thing that Elite Dangerous just released. I can't believe that. I think I'm gonna just keep coming back to how crazy this is. We got to get an Elite Dangerous and give this a try to see how it actually plays. I've honestly never tried Elite Dangerous's FPS stuff, so maybe it is about time. But this is... I just don't see how this is a coincidence. CIG even calls it an operation. Look at this. Implementing a new operation, Siege of Orison. Come on. What the heck? Either way, they're trying some new things here, giving people the better ability to just keep spawning back in at that spot. I think we saw this kind of in practice in the Onyx facilities, and now they are expanding it more. You can also go back to their medical guide to see them really expanding on this and talking about it. Life, death, and life again beyond 4.3. Here, they set up medbed conditions. So now you have certain that are enabled by event, certain ones that are permission editable, certain ones that have a regeneration timer or a temporary imprint, or destructible medbeds. All of these things are what are being added so they can add in situations like this where, yes, there's a risk of death. Yes, death means something special, but if there's a regen bed nearby, you're mostly okay. That's how I think they're starting to stick with Death of a Spaceman, in the sense that there's some kind of risk and consequence for dying, but still have a lot of respawns optional through these medical beds. If there's any other sign you need for that to be a reality, it's the freaking respawn screen that they're also going to add. So do I like it? From a gameplay perspective, I kind of do, because if you can still control the rules to the point where like you can limit spawns in certain places and have areas that are extra risky compared to others, then in the places where you do want to have these sort of theme park rides, some people will call them, it is nice to be able to do things quickly. But this is also this is on the same slope as teleport to party leader. All of these things are nice conveniences at first, but at some point they can start to change the design of the game through the removal of risks and consequences. And even if you don't take part in a certain gameplay, a game that relies on a player economy is going to be affected for everyone if certain people can do something differently to get ahead. That's just how it is. And that's why a lot of people think this is dead by design, because of the real world market. But it is definitely a thing. So we'll see how it goes. What annoys you is WB patented the Nemesis system, so no one else can use it. Imagine in an SC, a pirate shoots you down, becomes more notorious and dangerous, and the bounty on his head keeps growing. Yeah, that's what they told us they were going to do with the quantum system. That's why everyone was so amazed by it. Oh my gosh, did you figure out how to get around the patent? Are you making a system similar? Turns out no. At least not Tony Z. Maybe somebody else will pick it up and do it with StarSim, but I think StarSim is more focused on the economy. Imagine getting permadeath on a character from lag or glitch, network disconnect. But Death of a Spaceman is not permadeath. It's not permadeath. It's nowhere near permadeath. It is at worst having to recreate your character, but you keep the majority of your stuff, you take a financial hit, and you take a reputation loss. It's not permadeath. I do think that they're going to be more lenient about how many times you can cycle before you lose that character and have to build the new one, but they never really planned for it to be a situation where you actually lost all your things and couldn't just have your character again. You thought they recently gave up on the patent? I don't know. It's probably pretty valuable to them right now in the sale. It's probably the kind of thing that Paramount is going to look at for a nice $1 to add into their collection. Or to sell it, rather, because they don't want it. Mr. Grimm, look at you, dude. 55 streams updated to 60. Anil Achase. I think I said that right. I hope I said that right. I think I'm reading that right. Dude, your name's hard. Welcome to the Garden Gang, though. Look at you with your 3-stream streak. What exactly was patented? I actually don't know what exactly was patented. I just know that it was related to the Nemesis system in the Shadow of Mordor games. It was the tech. It wasn't necessarily the name itself. It was the ability for the characters to develop some kind of a memory of your character. But I don't know what the specifics of the patent itself are. Sorry, let's continue, yeah? We're past Siege of Orison. For the transport system, shuttles can now be gated behind mission logic, matching functionality already available in the legacy system. The team cleaned up code. That is a key sentence right there. This is basically just them saying that the new version of the transit system, that one that is being used at Grimhex, could not match the old system yet. That's why it's not applied everywhere. So now they've got another functionality at equality to the previous system that we've been using. And the team is cleaning up the code for elevator carriages with a single door and completed the major work to bring vehicle elevators under the transport system as well, replacing the convoluted elevator setups many vehicles currently rely on. Sorry, English. Didn't the patent get revoked? Don't know. Do YouTube stream streaks also count? I only take it from actually seeing. We will see. I don't know because YouTube doesn't let us see the chat as well. Like YouTube is really, really bad about supplying stats or anything that you can do. So as far as the bot that I'm coding to read this stuff custom, I'm not thinking it's going to be able to, but I'll try. Warner Bros. Holds the patent for the revolutionary Nemesis system from Middle-earth's Shadow of Mordor. This legal protection restricts other developers from replicating features like dynamic NPC hierarchies, persistent memories of player encounters, and consequence propagation, with the patent set to remain active until 2036. Interesting. Yeah, the persistent memories of player encounters sounds absolutely insane to be able to patent. There's got to be ways around that. What up, Thod? Thank you so much for the sub, dude. Appreciate you starting off with bits, ending with the sub. Much love. What's up, 8017? All right. Let's continue on. Work then continued on to the tool set the designers used to build mission content. Subsumption? Or Starscript, maybe? With numerous workflow fixes and optimizations. The devs also began building a mission board UI provider component to support local interactable mission boards, first planned for use at new Starkitect locations. That's a lot of information in one sentence. So mission boards are something we've heard about before. It's the kind of thing that people will hear that we're getting more NPCs with mobiGlas stuff and be like, I want a mission board. We're getting a mission board. We're getting mission boards. Yeah, they already have them at the Wicklow place. These are just going to be at all the locations they're planting all over the planets now. And this is where I think they're going to get into like the whole local gameplay. They got my cousin. He pooped in the bathroom and clogged the toilet. Can you help with the maintenance? And then you have to go and do like a house maintenance project that turns into some pirates are there to steal the toilet itself, and you have to defend against it, and then you get a reward blueprint because nobody expected you'd be able to do that. Why is somebody hiring a mercenary to defend a toilet? I don't know. You weren't even defending a toilet. Whatever. You can take those missions on mission boards, right? And that's the whole point of this idea of having locations everywhere. In fact, if you go to CitizenCon 2023, there's a pretty good moment where the cat is officially out of the bag on this sort of this idea. I think it's here. Because they never talked about this kind of settlements in the game before. They only talked about outposts, really. Or maybe we just don't get to listen to
layouts. So the more ingredients we have to work with, the more recipes we can create. But with that complexity comes the challenge of keeping everything harmonious. So we like to think we've done a pretty good job with that. But that's me. Using this expanded library, we've been able to increase the individual location size because there's less of that obvious repetition between buildings within any single location. And we can't really call some of these large locations outposts anymore. They become something more like settlements and imply a larger and more established community. Now, as a player, it will mean a lot more to explore and do at any single individual location with a localized and personal feeling mission types that might see you moving around a single settlement to complete objectives or doing short hop missions between clusters of settlements on a single planet. So
this was a first. We didn't really have that idea in our heads before the 23 CitizenCon, but I think that we are now seeing the fruition? Yeah. We'll go with that. Of this idea finding its way into Starchitect with these mission boards and probably a lot of localized gameplay. Progress also continued on bringing back physical mission givers. Yes, we... I got to take this opportunity to go do a little bit of a call out. I released this video. This is a supporter exclusive. It did absolutely numbers. There's a comment in here that says, where was it? I think it got deleted. Possibly got deleted. It basically was saying that I made the, oh, here it is. So basically, he predicted mission givers back almost a year ago. They haven't returned since, and he still posted his prediction for everyone to see. Which is, like, why I think it's better to read the actual information that's being delivered by the company and not make stupid YouTube comments. But point being, they have been telegraphing that this is going to happen for a while, and while it looks like she's been delayed out of 4.9, Recco Battaglia is going to be the first mission giver back within the next month, I guess. Hopefully, if instancing works. They say players can now receive a one-time comms call from a mission giver when they meet certain conditions, such as entering a specific star system. This actually does happen in 4.9. Recco will call you when you enter Nyx, much in the same way that a fixer will call you when you enter a new neighborhood in Cyberpunk. And I love that. I love to see it. It's exactly what I was hoping for from mission givers. They continue on by saying mission delivery mission delivery directly to an instance is now supported and is used by various Battaglia missions. This is the only line that makes me think maybe Battaglia herself is an instance and her missions are, but I also think it just might be both. They instance Battaglia missions, you fly out into the open world to travel wherever you're going, get your supplies, do your things, and then when you get to the location itself, you drop into another instance for the mission to play out, and then you back out into the open world. This might be telegraphing how the game itself is going to go, how much they're going to use instances in this game compared to what most people I think are hoping in it just being like closed off environments. But we'll see. We got a couple months to get an idea of this, and I think it's not worth jumping to conclusions beforehand. But I do think that this is going to mean easier to control missions, stuff that can be a lot more story-based, narrative, and unique to the individual, but also some weird situations that we'll probably get to a lot more in the coming months. Either way, big movement on mission in the game. To close out some of the work on the ship hangar services feature, the team added support for missile containers when stacking missiles on a cargo grid. Finally, for social and orgs, chat was re-implemented with a more robust customization tabs. A new location-based channel lets players near a planet chat with others in the vicinity, automatically switching channels as they move between areas. Bro! The team also entered the discovery phase for a reworked Friends app. It's crazy, I know, to cheer for a freaking text chat. I know. I'm not proud. But localized text chat is actually really great. I feel like one of the coolest aspects of landing on a moon that you consider to be deserted, and there is both not a guarantee that people will be there and a guarantee that they won't. It's really cool to then see a text chat pop up from someone you know is also on that moon. I don't know. There's something about it. It makes it feel like you're in a large game with happenstance. There's still some who firmly believe CIG will offer private servers, non-instances. I'm sad for them. Either way, movement on social apps is good, but I imagine this stuff is also slowed down by the reconsiderations they're doing for 4.9. Moving on from core gameplay, which it's tough to do because that was a good time. In June, the Creatures team worked on various improvements to the existing behaviors of the Valacar family. Work on the Apex Sand variant is still underway, with the team refining the gameplay to provide a better experience to players and ships. We talked about this earlier. Work continues, but they're definitely working on it. Pre-production for a brand new Creature family began as well, with exploration around visual identity, silhouettes, combat legibility, and gameplay archetypes going through various rounds of iteration. At this point, I feel like we've heard at least about one other Creature already and not seen it in the game, so I'm not sure what's going on with the Creature team at this point. I don't know how many Creatures they're working on, if it's still just this one. And now they're working on the whole family around it, but why would it be in pre-production? I don't know. We'll come back to this whenever we get some more solid information on it. I will have to remember that the June 2026 monthly report does have Creature information. All right, economy section. Last month, the economy team evaluated the economic data from the Alpha 4.8 release and worked to improve some of the underlying systems, such as repair and reclaim. This will allow outliers to be more reasonably priced and the systems to work more intuitively. As boring as this is, I do like seeing balanced stuff happen, because at least it means that like some aspect of the economy is maturing. How effective that is, I can't tell you. I don't think I follow pricing specifics enough to be able to evaluate that. But the fact that they're paying attention to at least balancing it in what feels like a downtime for Star Citizen is good. I know it's weird to say it feels like a downtime, but they're focusing on Squadron right now. Mission design. Progress continued on Siege of Orson, with the missions team pushing the boundaries of the technology and working through limitations as they come up. The upcoming battalion missions received polish throughout June too, with improvement plans being made to ensure the devs achieve the experience they want. Following the recent armor rebalance, which changed the tag ships used to spawn in combat missions, the team are now beginning to rebalance the mission content, with the first being the defense ship archetype. This is, again, kind of like the economic stuff. I like to see some serious rebalancing going on based on changes that came into the game. That means that the team seems to at least have some time to put towards making sure that their old stuff still feels new. And that's important for a game that moves this fast. Well, updates this much. Narrative. They started the month working with mission design on several parallel events that are scattered across upcoming patches. This will be in tandem with the narrative designers, who will help generate placeholder versions of any scripted lines so review are more reflective of the final experience. This also includes initial passes on mission text, objectives, and markers to further provide context and direction. Narrative also started to break down future patches to understand what additional content might be needed from a performance capture or voiceover perspective. In addition to this, the team continued their evergreen tasks of writing names and descriptions for new items, armor pieces, weapons, ships, and paints. I have been starting to look more and more into the lore for examples of narrative readings I could do, but also for lore videos, because man, the lore it's getting more interesting now that they're able to fill in more of this information. It was around this time last year, I do believe, they were starting to look at storylines for 2026. So they might be looking at how they can start to nudge the storyline towards introducing Castra, which I don't think is going to happen until at the earliest this time next year. Probably more likely at the end of next year. So I'd love to be a fly on the wall of whatever narrative is doing right now. Even if it's not next year, it's probably, or like even if it's not Castra, it's probably still beginning of next year's stuff. Online technology. Over the past month, the Live Tools team made significant progress across all of their internal tools, wrapping up several long-running projects while shipping a steady stream of updates and fixes. That is, that's actually a pretty big deal. The Live Tools team is very important. These tools often seem to dictate how quickly folks can get things done, because, like, I mean, if you want to nail into a board, you need a working hammer. So that's good to hear. The biggest was the completion of 2 major overhauls to Hex, the internal platform used by player support and operations staff. The first was a full visual and experience redesign called Hex 4.0, which established a fresh look and feel that will guide all future developments on the platform. Hex is how they track things that players do, like reputation, ownerships of stuff, what they've unlocked, things like that. Pretty cool. The second was an expanded set of player investigation tools, which giving player support teams richer information and faster ways to look into player accounts, track item ownership history, and manage entitlements. Multiple Hex releases also went out during this period, delivering new features, improvements, and critical fixes, including security patches to access management and back-end components. Sorry, I was just thinking, as somebody who worked for a company that had custom software, I can attest to how important it is to have a team within the company that develops and knows that software. And I'm sure plenty of you also are in that situation. Like, if you have a company that runs on their own proprietary software, or even some kind of CRM software from like Salesforce or SAP or some other company, you depend on them keeping that software working. You know, it's not like you can just find a problem and then work around it every day and you're good. It's got to work, or else your job won't be efficient. And so hearing that tools are getting completed it makes me excited for the future of the development, but I will wait to see if it leads to any major improvements. It's funny, you always hear the people, it's the tools. Well, here they are. Another one, Bootstrap. This is the tool that helps developers quickly set up and configure their local work environments. the team continued to resolve reliability issues in it. Moreover, they advanced the design phase of a large overhaul aimed at making the overall developer experience significantly smoother. The devs continued to improve how crashes are captured and reported. The improvements made the data richer and more actionable for those investigating issues. Panic Switch, great member of the community, love you, dude. The live incident management tool, that's I guess the other whatever, maybe less known application of that phrase, also received ongoing polish and bug fixes. For instance, the completion of a configuration migration that had been in progress for some time. The team additionally began work on automatically handling crash reports tied to a known hardware issue affecting a specific generation of Intel processors. My boys in blue. This will reduce the manual effort needed from operations staff to triage those incidents. The online services team resolved over 30 bugs across 2 weekly cycles and focused on a mix of upcoming player-facing feature and live game stability work. The biggest area of active development was item recovery, also known as item imprint, the long-awaited feature that will allow players to reclaim items lost due to bugs or crashes. Online services completed a key alignment session with the UI team to nail down how the individual item claim flow will work. This includes how the game handles a player's full list of owned items and lets them selectively recover what's missing. This was talked about in the core gameplay section a lot, but I think it's really funny that if you go back to the item recovery post initially, I don't believe that is what they highlighted as the main reason for doing it. I think they said T1 was mainly focused around, I guess it was the reclaim idea. But I can't remember if it was specifically, yeah, loadout and ship registration. Introducing the ability to register your gear and ships at kiosks or ASOP terminals. Not exactly. For the pledge items thing was definitely part of this with the auto registration, but the overall idea of this was the full registration of stuff, everything, both stuff you bought with money and stuff in the game. And what I can't tell here is if they're also talking about stuff in the game. Because generally when they say lost due to bugs or crashes, they're talking about, well, not necessarily. I hope this is including stuff in the game. I hope that's something that they make a move on pretty quickly, because I think item recovery tier 1 needs to happen so we can start to have full loss of stuff again, and we can start to move towards the crafting integration of it. Significant work also went into addressing stability issues with the game's mission and contract systems. Dedicated design and technical review sessions were held, and a formal optimization effort was created to rebuild the contract generation process in a more efficient way. Hopefully in a way that doesn't break as much. The global database sharding work, which improves how player data is distributed across servers at scale, was completed. The team also moved deeper into the discovery and design phase for the future crafting and refining system. They held multiple sessions to resolve complex questions around how crafted items interact with player-owned equipment, insurance, and persistent item upgrades. That's good to hear, because there are some pretty complicated things that need to be considered. I'm sure we haven't even thought about yet, but would have loved to hear something more solid about refining by now. I think this could indicate that it's not looking likely this year, but we'll wait and see. R&D. In June, further progress was made to improve the look of gas clouds. Support for a density-based LUT to recolor gas clouds was added, and the phase function that controls how light is scattered was improved. I hate phase functions. Oh god, this just brings me back to vibrations class. Moreover, the min-max ray march path was simplified and optimized. Focus then switched back to ground fog. The new model, which was finalized earlier this year, was added into production. As a finishing touch, support for local height as well as density was added. This is cheaper to evaluate and render, extends the visible range, and improves the modeling aspect of ground fog and its lighting. It will also self-shadow as well as cast shadows, like rain volumes and clouds. Nice. Part of this work includes optimizations for the atmosphere ray marcher. Lastly, broken sub-object culling was fixed. I hope we get some really, really deep fogs inside of valleys that like create a whole different lighting situation. What is a LUT? A LUT is a preset of conditions that can be applied to a piece of film or an image or video. It's essentially, yeah, it's like video settings, but a preset of them, and they can be very valuable. Some LUTs are incredibly valuable because they're made for a specific reason by a specific party, and they're very used, you know. Other times it's just some dude in his freaking bedroom put a little contrast on something, save, export. That's me. There are probably people who can describe LUTs better, but that's what I know of them. Let's see, where were we? VFX. In June, the VFX team finished the last of their Alpha 4.8 content work by giving the Raylan and Chilui a full pass. Tylenol. The alien visuals are always fun to work on, and the images attached definitely show why. That's from the VFX team. Beyond Alpha 4.8, VFX also started their pass on Siege of Orison to provide a high-impact atmospheric visual. We're going to go with that to help elevate the already intense mission and locations. Work also began on upcoming weapons and vehicles. And there is your monthly report. That was a long one, but a good one. We got a lot of information there, specifically in the core gameplay section. But interesting stuff on economy. A little bit of Starkitect stuff sprinkled throughout, some Valakar updates, creatures, new missions, a lot of mission stuff. I think it was a good update, and we're learning a lot about what might be popping up towards the end of this year, but I am wondering how much of this stuff is more next year, considering the slowdown we are currently seeing. So we will see in the next monthly report. At that point, I'm going to be getting pretty busy. We're going to be getting kind of close to the baby boy, but we will see during the next one how they're doing, and I think that should tell us a little more of what to expect in 4.11 in September and 4.12 in November. But that's that. Let's get the ships. I think this is actually a fairly short update on ships too. Now, since our last ship update, we've had a couple of releases. We've definitely had a couple new learning opportunities with our existing ships. And we've got a monthly report now today. Can you please go away? That gives us a few updates on stuff in progress. So as always, thank you for joining. If you're just now showing up, we just did our monthly report review. We do it every month. It's posted on Space Tomato 2, but we also do it live here on the stream. If you enjoy those, consider popping in. You can ask questions. We get into some weird arguments and discussions. Jaybird's an old man. Today we're going to talk about what ships are coming to Star Citizen sometime soon, potentially far off, but what in general is being worked on. Starting in the UK. In the UK, the ship's team finalized and launched the Gattac, Raylan, and Tylenol to Louis. They then turned their attention to another Gray's Market ship, which was parked last year due to other priorities, beginning by ensuring nothing had degraded since it was last worked on. Interesting. So we had already heard about a Gray's ship, but considering, I think it sounds like they just brushed this off and got to work on it. It was parked last year, yeah. So this is probably not one of the recently unannounced ships we've been tracking here. So let's go ahead and add a new unannounced ship in. Unannounced. Gray's ship. Pretty high on confidence there, since they actually literally told us that. We don't know what phase it's in though. They didn't actually. It's parked last year, beginning by ensuring nothing had degraded since it was last worked on. No idea where that could be. Let's consider white box just to be safe. And this is possibly the Basher or whatever they had hinted at earlier, but then again, I feel like they would have been more confident about that if they were talking about it at that time. Why don't we stay away from naming that, and call the first mention this monthly report, and we'll save this as the note. June update. Actually, this is July. Or rather, it's what we were told in July. All right, so that's the first gray ship, and we also got an update there on the Raylan here, which is released now. Boom, boom, bada bang. And the Tului, which was not a Raylan snub as we believed here, but let's see what the notes were on this. Another unannounced ship passed its white box, with ships working alongside mocap to build out and make amendments to the in-game asset to suit the custom enter and exit animations. This was not the Raylan snub. So we're going to leave this. I guess this would be gray box if it passes white box review in April. Something else was the Tului. We got to find that. It would have been on the UK team. Fourth upcoming ship had its white box, flagged some main gameplay issues, not behaving as expected. Oh, you know what? Maybe this is the one that they said had some weird loading options. With a small team working white box. Unique hero rooms. OEM that hasn't been worked on in a while. No, that wouldn't make sense. Began laying the groundwork. This is turning into quite a complex in terms of animations and states, but the end result will be worth it. That sounds too late to be laying the groundwork in February, right? What's this? White box? No. God, I don't know, guys. I don't know if I had this one marked correctly. I think maybe I had the notes on another ship and we marked it incorrectly. So we're just gonna have to duplicate this and call this one the Tylenol. I don't know how to freaking spell it. T-Y-I-L-U-I. And we'll just say that this is the Raylan variant. Released in June. Sure, whatever, why not? Last update was on July 1st. Good for them, another one's done. All right, we really do not have that many ships that are not released at this point. Look at that. Kraken, Pioneer, Odin, Liberator, Galaxy, Forge, and MFC. These are the only ones that we know have been worked on. But let's continue and see. Further work was done for the Liberator, including integrating and repurposing numerous anvil kit pieces from recent ships, such as the Asgard and Paladin, which significantly reduces the amount of required new content. Chill. We got the lib on here. Filthy lib. Update it for June. I need to keep in mind that I put the month of the work, not the month of the update. So this would be here. Liberator. Last updated would be now, July 1st. We're going to put this note on the quick notes as well. Not bad. It's good to hear that they're getting work done on it from the Paladin and the Asgard. This is probably a this year kind of delivery. I'm saying expected release March 2027 here, but I'm going to update this. I think this is more likely a November release now. Because they're getting a lot of work done on it. I'm going to raise my confidence on that to medium. If they're getting a lot of work done on this and it is benefiting from some of the other people or some of the other ships that have already been done, I think it'll go quicker than we expect. They said there's a Jean Generalist ship in the works. Could it be Banu? I don't remember them saying there's an alien Generalist ship. Didn't they just say there's a Generalist ship? Other thing that hasn't been worked on in a while. Could be a Banu ship, yeah. It could have also been notes for an M80 that I just misapplied. All right. Continuing on, more artists moved on to the RSI Galaxy. Uh-oh. Following the release of the recent alien ships helping progress across all areas. This is the second most hyped ship release this year. Hopefully it lands better than the first most hyped ship, the Ironclad. Where are you, buddy? Did have a May update. Now it's got a June update. The May update did say it was continuing through its white box as various further revisions were made to the layout around the central dock and collar halves, bridge, and lift area. So now they're just getting more artists on it, speeding up that work a little bit, getting us there by November. That's an important one. What's the roll on this ship? It is modular. Do I have a modular tag? I don't. It's modular. It's a pocket carrier. It's a is it considered a medium ship? I think it's large ish. It hauls cargo. It does some refining. Thing is crazy. It's a wild. I think it also does some base building. Like the, oh yeah, medical too. Yeah, the Galaxy's a crazy ship, man. No Galaxy this year, you beg? Ooh, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think they have their eyes on a good payday with the Galaxy coming out. They want it. And that is absolute certainty that it is coming out November 2026, if you were tracking that one. 2 new ground vehicle variants progressed quickly down the pipeline. One successfully passed the combined white box and gray box gate review, while the other is rapidly approaching its white box gate review. That is, okay. Could that be the Grey Cat MFC? By any chance? How could we possibly know? We're just gonna have to say ground vehicle number 1 and ground vehicle number 2 and keep an eye on these. Maybe it is the MFC. Say these are both low confidence. One just passed its white box and gray box review, right? White box and gray box, yes. So this first one is through. We'll say successfully passed its white box and gray box review in June. A new model, a ground vehicle. We don't know anything else besides that. Expected release, I don't have one. We'll just throw September in there because why not? First mention is going to be July 1st. Most recent mention, also July 1st. Confidence obviously low. And the note at hand is there. All right. For the other ground vehicle, we've got mostly the same stuff. Still a ground vehicle. Still don't know anything about it. It's a little bit further behind, so we'll throw it in there for like a November release. But same first mention. Similar note. They said for this one, the other is rapidly approaching its white box gate review, so it's still going to be a little ways away if that's all it's doing in June. But ground vehicles can also just sort of quickly progress. Like if you don't pay attention, they could start working on one month and finish it 2 months later. So it's possible that it's in. I think they actually there are 2 ground vehicle variants. So let's make sure to mention that they are variants. That's variant 1, and here's variant 2. One's gotta wonder why they're at different stages of development. If they're 2 variants. Whoops. Okay, that goes there. I'm also gonna call this a variant. They must have different functions. Like maybe one does mining and one does combat, or one does cargo and one does salvage or something. We'll see. 4 unannounced ships progressed too. The first is a new fighter, passed its white box gate review and will continue to have its geometry refined as part of the gray box phase in preparation for November. Okay. So okay, cool. They're just telling us what that is. Let's see. So this would have been something that was recently in the white box. We've got 4 here. UK's ship says production on the 2nd kicked off with a small team starting work towards the white box gate planned for the middle of June. This could definitely be it. The other one was in combination with North America. I don't think that would be it. The 3rd is Gray's ship, and the 4th is that gray box, or that ground vehicle. So I'm going to go ahead and say this is probably the same one. We're going to pin this as its 2026 June update. We now know it is a fighter. So we could throw a roll on there. Don't know what kind of fighter. Really need to stop putting the descriptors in the actual tag. No, just fighter. You can do it. We also know that it is having its geometry refined as part of the gray box. So it is now in gray box. It's coming out in November. Can confirm. And that means our confidence gets to go extremely high on this one. I like that. Always cool to be able to get real confident about an unannounced ship. Most recent update is July 1st. And it was first announced on June 3rd. Good for them. If you press the S key, is there a... when the new version of 4.9 goes live, I'm still running into bugs in the Ironclad, like the top-mounted outer tractor beam emitter that can't be moved from one side to the other. If you press the S key, is there a workaround you know of? Does that move the tractor beam? I'm sorry, I don't know about a workaround for that one. 4.9 won't go live for a couple of weeks, probably. Or maybe next week. So that they can get the Foundation Festival is supposed to start soon with a free fly. So I'm guessing they want to get 4.9 in before that. S key does nothing now to move it. Yeah, I don't know what the key binding is for that. Sorry. The second unannounced ship from the UK is a new ship from a Xi'an manufacturer. Designed to fulfill a generalist role, entering pre-production. Wow. So this is our generalist. And they don't name the manufacturer. That's exciting. I wonder if it's a new manufacturer. So I don't believe we had picked anybody for a generalist. No, just the Drake Clipper was on there. So we've got a new unannounced ship. I guess it's kind of unannounced. Xi'an. new ship, I'll call it. Dev phase wise, I think it's in pre-production, right? Yeah, entered pre-production. It is a new model, a generalist. That's so exciting. We don't have an expected release. I mean, it is this year, I think. I don't know when it would be. Maybe December. First mentioned on July 1st. Last updated on July 1st. And most recent note, June 2026. Awesome. This is not a bad ship update. I like this ship update in the monthly report. It's given us quite a bit of confidence moving forward. Gatak is the only Jean manufacturer we know of, and Aopoa. But I do think that they would name those two if there was one. By the way, hello, Lens. Good to see you, dude. Can we get a shout out for Lens Nation in the chat, please? A great artist in the community. A friend. Does Xian just mean alien? No, it's the race. There are 4 main alien races: the Tavaran, the Vandul, the Xian, and the Banu. Yeah, and the Banu. And then there's also the Kurthak, but they're not really a main race right now. And the Xian are just the kind of friendly, sort of not friendly people with us. We do okay with them, but we had a bit of a long Cold War. Where were we? Where were we? The third unannounced ship progressed towards its Lod 0 gate. As part of this, the team added detail across the hull and ensured the animated parts don't interfere with each other. So this is one of the fun ones. We don't really have any signs or anything that we can connect to an earlier report. Other than that, it's at its Lod 0 gate, which means it was in its gray box phase before. So gray box ships from last month, really it looks like we've got these two. No, there's 3, but this is a vehicle. So this one doesn't have any notes. Actually, no, it does. Oh, this is the one we already did. So then this one? Another unannounced ship passed its white box review, with ships working alongside mocap to build out and make amendments to the in-game asset to suit the custom enter and exit animations. Animated parts, that's about as close as you can get. If it did have custom animations, it would have entered its gray box in May. That's a long time to be in gray box. Actually, Lod 0 review is different from gray box review. Interesting. So no, this would have had to have been something that was in Lod 0. But the only thing we have there is a North American ship. So I'm actually at a bit of a loss then. Where's the Stingray? Laying the groundwork for a second new vehicle in March. The Stingray progressed towards its white box review, turning out to be quite complex in terms of animations and states, but the end result will be worth it. That actually might work. If this was the same ship, that doesn't sound out of place, those 2 notes. This note would land. The team added details across the hull and ensured the animated parts don't interfere with each other. And in here it says this is turning out to be quite complex in terms of animations and states, but the end result will be worth it. Is that worth the gamble? I honestly, I don't have anywhere else to put it, so please say yes. Which ship was the one that was talked about which had 3 transformations? Did they... Oh, was that...
1-4.
Let's see. Is there a time where they talked about that here? Yeah, I don't know if that's anywhere that I can find in these videos. No, this is talking about 2 states. No, I don't think I'm gonna be able to find it. But I do recall something similar to what you were talking about. That there was something with transforming states. I think I'm gonna go with it. I like it. I like this for it. We can still consider maybe it's a Stingray. We'll update the last update to July 1st. Still unsure. But this would put it at Lot 0, right? Yeah, it's progressing towards its Lot 0 gate, so it's in Lot 0 right now. And I do think that it's still going to come out this year. I'm going to put it at November. All right. I feel good about that, I think. Finally, the 4th ship had its gray box gate review. Following this, adjustments were made to its components and weapon locations. The mocap team is currently preparing to tackle the complicated animations required for this ship. Oh, that's great. Let's just keep talking about complicated animations. All right, so this one had a gray box gate review. Could it be this one with the animations? This one literally had custom enter and exit animations, so you know what, we're just gonna, at this point, it's a little hopeless. Mocap team is currently preparing to tackle the complicated animations required for the ship. Well, exit and enter animations would be what's needed for a mocap team, so that actually also matches up quite well. Guys, we might be doing something right. Maybe. I'm gonna update to July 1st on this one. We don't really have any other information to put on it. Other than, did it pass its gray box review? It says it's had its gray box review. Did it pass it? No, adjustments were made to the component and weapon location, so it's still in gray box. Okay. All right. This is an unannounced one. We still don't know what it is. Finally, the North American team continued to move the Kraken toward its gray box gate review with a focus on utilizing the finalized Drake kit from the Ironclad. The initial lighting pass was done to set the tone across the ship. Amazing. Here we have it. The Kraken continues to get progress updates pretty regularly. This is a fountain that keeps flowing with information. As you can see, we got a lot of updates for the Kraken here. It entered its first update in July of 2025, so we are now at 1 year of work that the Kraken has undergone. Expect it to take a little less than a year from now. I think I'm forgetting to add these in here. Whoops. There we go. Okay. Last updated on July 1st. Expected release is still Invictus Week or Drake Defense Con, whatever you want to call it, in 2027. So, there are our updates. And just to be clear, so you remember what the Kraken actually looks like. Kraken boy. Don't forget it. So that about wraps up everything that they've been working on in the last month. That is, let's see, we've got, this did not get an update, interestingly. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 ships got updates today. What is this? Oh, that's 25. 12 ships got updates today. Of those 12, I would say at least like 5 I would expect to come still before the end of this year. So we still got plenty of ship releases and stuff planned for the rest of the year. They just got to get the game into a better position, or else they're not going to sell very well. But well, they'll always sell well, just not as well as they probably want. But that's your update. That's your ship update for June. I hope you got the info you were looking for and had a good time doing it. Thanks for checking it out. Desync's not a huge problem anymore, but they seem to hit harder every day. Harder today, I see. Well, yeah, the desync's been bad this year in general, but hopefully we can see some improvements with these bug fixes and stuff that they're trying to get done. Yeah, thank you guys for coming. I hope you enjoyed. I am going to go get some lunch now and like take a load off this. I did the podcast right before this, so it's just been like 5 hours of talking about Star Citizen, and after some time, you gotta let your brain rest from that. It's too much brain rot for me. So I'm gonna pass you guys on to another Star Citizen streamer who's doing something I'm sure is incredibly fun and interesting. Red Monsters Online. I'm definitely passing you to Red. It's good to see him back. You guys go have some fun doing some mining. It looks like he's hopping into the Atlas and getting the minables in. And give a shout if you see any of the Toes Gang winners around Discord or on the streamer in game. PK, John Cabot, Alex K blah blah, and Baltzen. Thank you guys so much for being on Toes Gang. Thank you as well everybody else in chat. There's been a lot of support this summer. It's made a big difference in the lead up to Little Baby Boy. Uncle Fola in the chat. I appreciate you guys. Jaybird, thank you so much for modding, dude. You're amazing. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Maverick, you know I'm always rooting for you, dude. Much love. Have a wonderful day. Do something you love, guys. Eat something you love. Treat yourself to something you love. Give somebody you love a hug, you know. Do something good. You're great people. Fantastic company. You deserve some good things. And I hope you have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow for some gameplay. Peace out. Enjoy yourselves. Bye.